Hold this here. I'm going to make Elvis Costello's head fit my body. So you've got to hold it there. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Come forward one step.
Now it's time for Dakota's moment.
One more step.
And I really hope you paid attention to the video.
Oh, Lino, stop texting me.
Who's best for him?
Is that fit?
Is that working?
There we go.
Your turn.
Okay.
Forward. Forward. Again. Oh no, you're getting a bit too close. Hang on. Back. Back up. Back up again. Back again.
Back again?
Yeah.
Oliver's army is here to stay. Oliver's army is on his way.
Hang on. Let's put that closer. Come closer. You come a bit. Yeah, stop. There.
Hi, I'm Elvis Costello. I'm a rock singer. Oh yeah, man. Oliver's army.
No.
It's me. It's me.
It was him all along.
You know, she's got that very honest way about her.
So that's a good thing.
We are watching the biggest pile of horse shit on television.
No, that was Love Island. I turned that over.
No, but this is still rubbish.
I feel like I was a little more attracted to Lanisa.
Lanisa typical is your poster girl, right?
She is, yeah.
Why do you like her looks?
She's just natural.
Hey, look, he's like $1 Million Joey from Friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm attracted to for sure.
She's a beautiful woman. But at the end of the day, you got the beautiful woman.
He smells delightful as well. Yeah, he's a good smeller.
She's an artist also.
About 3 weeks ago. About 4 or 5 minutes. Printed something out.
Talksport, 10 PM. I'm going to be honest. Cundy coming back from his holiday, he smells fucking amazing.
That's not what you think it is.
Is it not? I think it's aftershave. See
But
me.
his hiccups were gone. And I've been gone.
You smell beautiful.
I always smell good.
No, there's. Did you buy something?
No, I didn't. This is old, stinks.
It's good stink.
Yeah.
Smells lovely. You have a nice holiday?
Oh, it's great, mate. Lovely.
I'm good stinks.
Sorry?
I'm good stinks.
I don't know about your stinks. Do you la pina colada?
Okay, so here's the deal. If Allie wants to check out the new show,
Ali Oxenberry.
if she doesn't, well, Ian is going to tell you that it's not a match. It's the moment of truth to see if it's a match on both sides of the street. If the client likes the dater and the dater likes the client, fantastic. They're going to check out together. But if they don't, they check out alone. This is the worst part. I hate this part. I'm always so nervous at this part because I hate to see a match go wrong. Louis?
I don't really know what happened. I think his escort turned up. Do you la piñas colados?
What language is that?
It's the language of song, mate. Could you bring those newspapers, please? Thank you, sports. I don't actually know their names.
She got in. Fucking awesome. Okay.
A quick joke.
I'm gonna. Let me put you through. Hang on a second.
An observation.
I'm gonna tell him where you're.
Hang on, Sean. You have to
Do you la piñas coladas?
I'm gonna say Sarah Naples.
Boss says they have to be nifty, Neil, I'm afraid. Listen live or listen again on the Talk Radio website.
Awesome.
Do you la piña colados?
Can I sit? Yeah, I'll see you on your honeymoon, okay? James Whale and Ash is there as well.
Is that boring Paul in Stoke Poges?
Yes.
Cool. Hang on a second. Put you on hold, okay?
That's not the
You got
observation.
that toilet, I think.
You've changed your out of 10, Sean.
About 2.
I've got someone in Naples to talk to you.
Another one. Go on, yeah. Go on. Okay, the 1984 woman, that Ariana Grande broke the record, so got 3-4 song, yeah? Yeah. In 1984, the British women's player was called Joe Fury.
God.
Yeah, she played on
And may I pleasure you, sir? May I pleasure you, sir?
Thank you very much indeed, Paul. Thank you very much indeed, Sean. Let's talk to Angela. Hello, Angela.
No.
Angela.
Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, beg your pardon. Sarah. Yeah.
Hi.
Sarah's in Napoli.
Napoli.
Tell me where in Napoli are you, Sarah?
I'm currently in
The beard is coming back.
Piazza Bellini, enjoying a mojito, following a nice Napoli pizza.
Oh. Now, how do you happen to be in Napoli? What do you...
I'm here on my mini moon, following a wonderful wedding in Ireland. Of course, we couldn't stop listening to your show.
You're not related to our producer Michael in any way, are you?
No.
No.
I swear.
Yeah.
He was not at my wedding.
Yeah. Hang on, this isn't the woman you were.
The
This isn't the woman you were telling me about. It is. Yes, it is.
This is the one that did that.
No, you did not.
I respect you for it.
Yeah.
I haven't lost any respect for it.
Any woman who's prepared to do that to a producer with a beard has got my vote. Yeah.
He's scary, but yeah, past the beard.
Yeah. Have you been down the road to Sorrento?
No. Tomorrow we're heading
say we're
off
getting
the
rid of
ferry
montage.
to
That's my new one,
Asia.
You could go to the island
So
of
take a minute.
Capri as well.
58.
I can in from jail.
No, we tried to skip.
You can in from jail, yes.
Is it?
Too many Brits and Irish.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We avoid our own for a few days.
What is that? Is that a penis? Oh, no, it was a penis.
You should try while you're there to go to Positano.
My mum can wiggle her ears. I couldn't do it.
When you go to Positano, take the bus. Don't go on a car, take the bus. All right? Because it's a frightening trip. It's a frightening trip. Sarah, lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Your secret.
Thank you, James.
Your secret.
Buenas noches.
Bye, Mike. Yeah.
No, Eddie Lars doesn't want the audio to be shared, so no.
This is what
No.
you missed today.
He says he didn't.
Awesome.
Which is fair enough. This is cool.
I'm gonna play Kanye. Yeah, no worries. Take it easy.
James Whale Show on Talk Radio with Pimlico Plumbers.
I want to keep with that as well.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Are we late? That's what. That was my fault. Or was that your fault? That's your fault.
It's lovely. 2 games at the Emirates Stadium, only £25. We can either get tickets from Arsenal.com or call.
What's going on? I feel a tension in the studio tonight. Have you two had an argument?
No,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Oh, very
Are you
positive.
positive you haven't been having words?
No, not sure. We don't have words.
That's not normal.
Are we on Periscopes? Alright guys, we're alright. We're on Periscope. Hey,
Ash, stop.
I'm on Iain Lee's Periscope. Oh, he's got a lot of people watching.
Very popular.
It's very popular.
It's got
It's not that
111 people on it.
we're exclusive. We're exclusive.
This August, Men and Cancer Support needs you to brave the shade and help raise money for men, women and children with cancer.
I'm braving the shave for my mum to let her know I'm here for her.
I'm shaving my head to support people facing cancer. I'm braving the shave in memory of my grandma. I think she'll be proud of me.
I'm shaving my head to support my brother.
Whatever your reason for braving the shade this summer, you'll be doing something truly amazing to support people affected by cancer. So go on, sign up today at bravetheshave.org.uk or search Brave
From
the
the
Shave.
Sky News Centre at 10, there's been drama at Wimbledon with the top 2 men's
Right, do you
seeds
want some water?
out.
Do you want a brew?
I would like a
Defending
coffee
champion
and I
Andy
do not
Murray
want a
suffers
bed.
shock 5-set defeat to Sam Perry.
I've been a little bit sore, but I tried my best right to the end. I was, gave everything I had, so I'm proud about that. But it's obviously a disappointing to lose, so I'm sad that it's over.
Three-time champion Novak Djokovic retired injured in his match with Thomas Berdych. The results mean Roger Federer is the only one of the top 4 through to the semi-finals. Hundreds of mourners have held a vigil for victims of the Grenville Tower fire 4 weeks since the disaster. Earlier, the incoming leader of Kensington and Chelsea Council prompted a fresh row by admitting she's never set foot inside a high-rise flat. A nuisance caller who's rung 999 more than 1,800 times has been jailed for 6 months. Stacey White from Heanor in Derbyshire cost the NHS more than £30,000 in the last year alone. She was given a 20-week suspended sentence in 2014 for misusing the line and assaulting a paramedic. An ex-cavalry officer has won a landmark battle at the Supreme Court. It's ruled unanimously that John Walker's husband can get his spouse's pension if he dies, just like a wife would. The King of Spain and his wife are having a state banquet at Buckingham Palace. Earlier, Felipe VI told MPs and peers he's confident Gibraltar. And tonight, the Queen talked about the nation's ties.
With such a remarkable shared history, it is inevitable that there are matters on which we have not always seen eye to eye. But the strength of our friendship has bred a resilient spirit of cooperation and goodwill.
Ariana Grande has been made an honorary citizen of Manchester. The councils recognise the pop star for her outstanding contribution following the bomb attack at her concert in May. That's the latest. I'm Nick Qureshi.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Turn the mic on. Turn the mic on. Thank you very much indeed. I'm waiting for this to download. I've had a song in my head. This sound means turn the mics on because I have words to impart to the nation. For some reason, I have no idea why, but this song, which I am downloading now, has been in my head all bloody evening. So now I'm going to put it in your head. There we go. That song has been in my head for the last hour and I've been singing it. I've been singing rude versions.
Yeah, very rude versions.
I've been singing a few like penis coladas. Who sang that song, Catherine?
A man.
Yes. Big hit.
Is his name Ron? Roy.
Rupert Holmes.
Oh.
In America, it was the last #1 hit of the 1970s. So we got a little bit of background on the song, right? But it's an effed up song, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It is a very, very disturbing song. Your chorus, it's all about pina colada. Pina colada, of course, is the cocktail that tastes like a milkshake, isn't it? They are absolutely delicious.
It's kind of like a jolly babushka.
Yeah. I remember when I was giving up booze, I discovered pina coladas, and I thought, well, they can't be that bad. They taste so delicious. So it's a jolly, jaunty kind of pina colada, like drinking in the rain, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And that song has been a soundtrack to many, many lives. But when you listen to the lyrics, when you analyse it, it has got to be, I'm going to say it, the seediest song ever written. Let's get a bit of background about it before we deconstruct the lyrics, okay? We've got 3 hours.
Okay.
I'm in no rush.
Right.
I'm in no rush whatsoever. We're going to get to the bottom. Do you know what the full title of the song is? Here we go. The full title of the song. Here's a clue. The Pina Colada song bit is in brackets.
Oh.
Yeah. Escape. Brackets. The Pina Colada song. So straight away from the title, knowing that the word escape is there is an element of menace about it. There is a hint of darkness. Escape. The Great Escape, Escape to Victory.
Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. Escape is about leaving a place of torment, of torture, quite often a prison, and getting to a place of freedom. So instantly, once you know the full title, you know that this song is a bit more menacing than the chorus would have you think. The cover of the 7-inch single of Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets, by Rupert Holmes. Done a lot of research into this. It's not a headshot of the singer, it's a chest shot of the singer. He's wearing a white T-shirt. His hands are in fists in front of him, handcuffed. So the picture on the 7-inch sleeve is telling you this is a dark, dark song. A song of great menace. A song not of celebration, but of actual... bondage. Of bondage. Let's give you some facts about it. And then we're going to dive into the lyrics of the song, and we're going to deconstruct it in the same way that you, when you were at school, would have deconstructed a Siegfried Sassoon poem, or Return of the Native, or a Jane Austen novel, or a Shakespeare play. We're going to dive in and we're going to deconstruct it. We've got 3 hours. We've got until 1 o'clock. And if we don't get it finished by 1 o'clock, I'm back tomorrow. So we have got time to give this the treatment that it deserves. A few facts. Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song, is a song written and recorded by British-born American singer Rupert Holmes. Find out if Rupert Holmes is still alive. Let's get that bastard on this show.
Okay.
For his album, Partners in Crime. Partners in Crime. There will be a test. There will be a test. Go on.
He's alive, he's 70, and I believe...
Yep.
I may be able to get hold of him.
Okay, let's get him on the show. Let's get him on the show tonight. The lead single for the album, the pop song, was recommended by Billboard for radio broadcasts. It peaked at the end of December to become the last US #1 song of the 1970s. It was displaced... The first US #1 song of the 1980s, Casey and the Sunshine Band's Please Don't Go. Okay, so it was a big song. Let's read a little bit about the background of the song, and then we're going to dive into the lyrics. We're going to tear it apart. You're welcome to join in tonight. We are workshopping the Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. You are very, very welcome to join us. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. You can, of course, watch us on Periscope this evening, periscope.tv/Iain Lee. Let's see a little bit. The song came from an unused track for which Holmes wrote temporary or dummy lyrics. This version, Law of the Jungle with the silly lyrics, was released as part of his Cast of Characters 2005 box set and was inspired by a want ad he read whilst idly scanning the personals one day. As Holmes put it, I thought, what would happen to me if I answered this ad? And what we learn from Holmes there is he's an observer of people. He's an observer of life. He's a philosopher. He is someone that gets his inspiration from others around him. He wants to know how people tick, what people think, how they feel, why they feel, and he likes to imagine certain actions, if he took certain actions, what the impact would be on those surrounding him. So he's an intelligent guy. We know that he is an observant, intelligent, bright guy who likes mind games. No, when I say mind games, I don't mean in the cruel sense, although when we get to the lyrics, that might be the case. But he likes to play games in his mind. He likes to fantasize. And luckily for us, he has the skills as a poet and a songwriter to distill those fantasies into a 3-minute, 4-minute pop song. Excellent stuff so far. We continue. I'd go and see if it was my own wife who was bored with me. Now, that's a weird fantasy to have. Find out how many times this guy's been married. That's a weird fantasy to have. Straight away, we've entered the darkness. He's gone straight in there. I saw a wanted ad in the personals, and I wondered if I answered it, would it be my own wife? Wow, weird, isn't it? Heavy shiz, man, heavy shiz. We continue. The title of the song was originally going to be People Need Other People. The chorus originally started with, if you like Humphrey Bogart, which Holmes changed at the last minute, replacing the actor with the name of the first exotic cocktail that came to mind. The original lyric said, I'm going to tell you what the original lyric to Escape, the Pina Colada song said. After these ads. This is how you do a radio show. We're going to do 3 hours on this.
Dialogue, debate and discourse.
Talk radio. Give it some lift.
I used to be a security guard. Work nights. Instead of being at home with the kids watching TV,
do you like
Pina Colada? And CCTV. But now I drive with Uber. I don't have to work on social hours if I don't want to, and I can do and watch whatever I want.
Daddy, can I watch Doggy Detective?
Brilliant.
Work or not, at the touch of a button. Find out more at uber.com/driveuk. Uber. Where to?
Skeletor got £35 off his budget car insurance at Money's Supermarket. And now he feels like the whole world is queuing for his autograph. Like his life's a standing ovation that'll never end. Like he could light up the sky with a flame. Get £35 off budget car insurance. Another epic deal exclusively from Money's Supermarket. Offer ends August 8. New policies only when purchasing budget car insurance through Money's Supermarket before August 8, 2017. Geographical exclusions apply. See Money's Supermarket for full T's and C's.
And gently pull away. Very good, Miss Riley. Now, continue at this speed, and when I tap my clipboard on the dashboard, I want you to brake immediately in a controlled manner. Oh, excellent. Lovely bit of braking.
The Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 3, helping you stop short on both dry and wet roads. Visit goodyear.co.uk to find your local dealer. Goodyear, made to feel good.
Now, Miss Riley, let's see a three-point turn.
Talk radio. Talk and entertainment across the nation.
Talk radio.
Give it some lift.
Late night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Good evening, dear listeners. Slightly different show tonight. We're going to be dissecting Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. You're welcome to join in. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. The original lyrics said, if you like Humphrey Bogart and getting caught in the rain, on the way to the session the next morning, Rupert says, I read the lyrics to a cab driver and asked him if he got the twist ending before I got to it. And there is a twist ending, which we will come to in a bit. He said no, and he thought the story was good. When I got to the session, I turned to my guitarist, Dean Balin, and said, I've just written a lyric. It's a story song. I don't want you to get ahead of it, so I'm going to go on mic and sing the song without stopping. If I don't sing a line perfectly, I'm not going to stop because I want you to hear the song in one listening. He's a performer, he's an entertainer, but above all else, he is a storyteller, a tradition that goes back centuries. You can imagine Rupert Holmes in the days of Vikings, gathering everyone round a fire and saying, come closer to the warmth. I have a story to tell.
Rupert the Bard.
Rupert the Bard. You can imagine him strolling from town to town in medieval England. And people would say, hither, I see yonder storyteller, Rupert the Bard, travelling to us. I wonder what excitements he has for us over this coming weekend period. Gathered round the fire, he says, I have a story to tell you. Do you like pina coladas? And away he goes. He's a storyteller. It's a tradition as old as time, if not older. Because what is history if it's not stories being told and being passed down? The Pina Colada song, brackets, Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song, is a story as old as time itself. And he is simply displaying himself to be a teller of stories. Now, having done some research, we know that that's true. That's spot on. Catherine, what do we know about Rupert Holmes, please?
What we know about Rupert Holmes is thus.
Yes.
Okay. He was born in England, in Cheshire.
Yep. Beautiful.
But ended up in New York City.
Of course he did. So he's a traveller. He wants more from the world. He wants to experience. He wants to live. He wants to go and see things that others only read about in books and see in movies.
Well,
I like this guy.
His father was a US Army warrant officer and band leader.
There we go. So the music, you could argue, the music is literally in his DNA.
His mother was English, Gwendolyn Mary.
Oh, what a
both were musical.
Yep.
He was both British and American.
Yep.
A person of the world, a citizen of the world.
Yeah, exactly, completely. And let's be honest, guys. Let's not beat around the bush here. Two of the when it comes to contributions to music, popular as well as all other forms of music, America and Britain lead the way. They lead the way.
Age 6, Rupert and his family go back to America.
Yep.
He's living in New York. He's going to the Manhattan School of Music later,
Wowzers.
majoring in clarinet.
Wowzers.
His brother Richard is the principal lyric baritone of the New York Gilbert and Sullivan Players.
Yep.
He sings roles with regional opera companies such as the Glimmerglass Opera,
Yep.
Lake George and Virginia Opera, and also appeared at the Metropolitan Opera. So music, music, music. In 1969, Holmes married his childhood friend Elizabeth Lisa Wood Dreyfus, an attorney.
Wowzers.
In 1986, Holmes's daughter Wendy died suddenly at the age of 10 of an undiagnosed brain tumour. He has 2 sons, Nick and Timothy, the latter of whom has autism.
Okay, let's find out more. He's also, you're telling me he's written stories for television
He has.
and movies.
He's been a
This guy is a big player in the world of entertainment and of storytelling. We'll come back to Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song in a bit, but just tell us some of those story manifestations,
Okay,
please.
so he's been a playwright.
Yep.
Professional debut as a playwright with a musical, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, later known as Drood.
Drood! Exclamation mark!
Encouraged to write a musical by Joseph Papp and his wife after they attended one of Holmes's cabarets in 1983. The result, loosely based on the Charles Dickens unfinished novel
Yep.
and inspired by Holmes' memories of the English panto shows he attended as a child, was a hit in New York Central Park and on Broadway. So you've got that. You've got Swango, the theatrical dance experience.
Swango, guys, Swango. We'll go back. We'll dive into his biography again in a bit. Here's an interesting thing that you can say whenever the Pina Colada song comes on. You can say, here's a bit of trivia. Did you know the guy that wrote and performed this, Rupert Holmes, doesn't really like pina coladas? There you go.
Is that true?
That's an actual fact. He doesn't care for pina coladas. He once appeared on the Uncle Floyd show saying he didn't like it. Here's an interesting bit of trivia as well. Uncle Floyd is a nobody who hates me for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why, but the people that are around Uncle Floyd are complete and utter arseholes. That's a tangent. So, he doesn't like pina coladas, but yet he's written a song about it. And he himself admits that the song, he looks on it with fondness, because I bet it bought him a lot of houses and a lot of cars, but he admits it detracted from some of his more serious works. 0344 499 1000. Alan's called in to join the Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets, discussion forum this evening. Alan?
Well, I've got a bit of information about where it charted in the UK.
Oh, this is exactly what we need, sir. Continue.
It got to number 23 in the UK chart.
Is that all?
It was number 1 in America and Canada.
What a surprise. What a surprise, because it's such a well-known song. And this is the thing I've learnt as I've got older. Quite often, songs that we love and are very familiar with weren't actually that big a chart hit. Because that's a pretty... Here's a little bit of trivia about the Monkees. The Daydream Believer, everyone knows Daydream Believer. The song...
Davy Jones on vocals.
The Davy Jones on vocals. The song Randy Scouse Git was a single over here, was a bigger hit than Daydream. It got number 2, and I think Daydream Believer got to number 4 or number 5. So quite often we don't remember the bigger hits, Catherine.
I wonder whether that's got to do with the fact that we were not a big cocktail nation in 1979.
What we need, what we could do, this is going to be tricky. Can you find a drinks historian? I tell you why. Because we weren't a big cocktail thing, and here's the thing. I remember in the 70s and for a lot of the 80s, there were no restaurants. There were no restaurants in this. You might get a French restaurant and a couple of curry houses. That was it. People did not go out and eat. Now, we go out and eat all the time. You go out for lunch and you go out for dinner and probably go out for breakfast as well. But no one went out to eat very often. I'm not going to say never, but very often they didn't go out and eat. They would sit at home and cook their own meals. And I wonder, Alan, if we were aware of the drink, the Pina Colada, because it would have seemed, if we were aware of it, it would have seemed to dull and drab Britain post-punk in 1979, it would have seemed a very, very glamorous thing.
Well, it didn't hit Birmingham till about 1992.
Sorry?
It didn't hit Birmingham till about 1992.
What? Pina Coladas?
Yeah, because there was a club in Birmingham called Snobs. And they didn't do it.
They didn't do... Snobs in Birmingham didn't do Pina Coladas until 1992.
Because they said it was a gay drink.
Oh, yes! Now getting somewhere. Now we are getting somewhere. Alan, that is the best call you've ever made to a phone-in radio show. Now we're getting somewhere. Snobs in Birmingham wouldn't serve pina coladas until 1992 because it was a gay drink. A gay drink. And yet today we hear the wonderful story about the gentleman who, the gay gentleman who is entitled to get his husband's pension or something when he dies. I don't know the full story, but it's another blow for bigots and homophobes. It is more equality for my gay brothers and my lesbian sisters and my transgender brothers and sisters and all those things, and it's great, great news. So there's one in the eye. In 1992, you could buy your first pina colada in Birmingham. In 1991, they were not served because it was a gay drink. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Catherine?
Yes.
You got something to say?
No, I've just sent an email to Drink Historian.
Oh, yes!
Let's see what happens.
We are cooking on gas. We're going to delve into the lyrics of the song in a minute. But before that, I thought it would be interesting if we listened to some other versions of the song. And here's a lovely, lovely ukulele version of Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this.
I love my lady. We've been together too long.
Who's this?
Some wine guy, too.
Like a worn out recording of my favorite song. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And in the personal columns, there was a letter I read. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, then I'm the lady you looked for. Write to me and escape. Didn't think about my lady. I know that sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad. Now I'm nobody's poet, but it wasn't half bad. Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food, but I am into champagne. I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon. Cut through all this red tape at a bar called Oasis, where we'll plan our escape. So I waited with high hopes as she walked.
Literally no one calling in. I love it. I love it.
Her smile in an instant. I knew the curves of the face. It was my own lovely lady, and she said, "Oh, it's you." Then we laughed for a moment.
The thing about this song is, neither one's massively surprised.
And I said, I never
knew about it.
I never knew you liked pina coladas, getting caught in the rain, and the feel of the ocean, and the taste of champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, You're the lady I look for. Come with me and escape.
I'm learning this tomorrow.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Drive with Sam Delaney on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Fuel your appetite for adrenalised afternoon radio on the Drive Time show that's going all over the country.
Original afternoon entertainment with me, Sam Delaney.
It's the superior work-to-sofa transmission system with intelligent presenter technology fitted as standard. Delaney, live at Drive.
Tomorrow afternoon from 4.
On Talk Radio, we'll get you talking. Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 if you want to join in the discussion. The big story tonight is Escape brackets, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. We are dissecting it. We now dive into the lyrics. First line, boom, straight in there. Here's a question for you, right? Is there a better opening line to any song ever? Is there a better opening line than this? This sets up the whole story. I was tired of my lady. We'd been together too long. That says everything, doesn't it? It says, I mean, it dates it wonderfully with the term my lady. It's beautiful, late 70s kind of American ownership thing. I love it.
Also, I love the juxtaposition of what sounds like a respectful term with what he's about to do to her.
I was tired of my lady. Just have a think about the relationship you're in now, right? With a man or a woman.
Or both.
Or both. And just think, you tired of them? I bet more of you are tired of them than you'd care to admit. And what Rupert Holmes does is he speaks the unspeakable. We've all been, whether it's the relationship you're in now or the last one you were in, we've all been in relationships where we've been, in bed with our partner, or we've been, sat opposite them in a restaurant or a table in a pub, and we just thought, I am so tired of you.
Oh my God, that's cold.
No, but it's true. We've all thought it. I'm so tired of you, my lady. Or I'm so tired of you, my man. We've all thought it. Very, very few of us have the balls to put our hands up and say, I am tired of you, my lady. When have you ever heard anyone ever say that? You don't. Even your mates don't go, oh man, I'm so tired of her. Oh man. I was tired of my lady. We've been together too long. That happens. Here's the thing, right? Divorce is, it's like over 50% of marriages end in divorce now. I remember when it was a third and people saying, well, that's too much. And here are the two, I'm going to give you the two reasons for divorce, right? One, we're living a lot longer than we ever have done. So people are spending, suddenly, we got married back in the day. You might have 25 years together before one of you carked it. Now you can have like 40, 50 years. And you don't have to get up to the 40, 50 year mark to be tired of someone. You can get to the 10, 15 year mark and go, bloody hell, I don't think I can do another 30 with him. I couldn't do another 25 with her. It happens. So reason number one, there are more divorces, is because we are living longer. Reason number two, Facebook. Facebook. That's why people get divorced. You know why? Come on, Catherine. And I know you've done this. Mm-hmm. We all go on Facebook. At some point, 2 o'clock in the morning, we finish work or we're just flicking through videos on YouTube and you think, I wonder what the third girl I ever went out with is doing now. You type their name into Facebook and you see that she's still a bit fruity and a bit sexy. And some people might send a message and or I wonder that remember when I was engaged to that French girl. I wasn't. And then I wonder where they are now. You can find all of your exes and all of the people that you fancy but never asked out, or the cute girl that was in year 2 at school who was in the same French class as you but nothing else. You can find all of these people now. They're just a click away. It's, to paraphrase the Rolling Stones, it's just a click away. It's just a click away. And by that, they mean that the temptation is there. And people at 2 o'clock in the morning are bored, they are lonely, they are horny, they are contemplating all kinds of things. And you might fire off, a seemingly innocent message, but actually it's quite loaded. It's the very fact you've sent that message just popped into my head. I wondered how you're doing. It's loaded.
At the top of this train of thought, you said I'd done this. I've done this, but not because I was feeling lonely or horny.
No,
I just wanted to check whether or not they were bald.
No. Well, it starts off as that. You used to go out with hairy men. So
no, I used to go out with swarthy young men.
No, you used to go out with French men and Spaniards, and they were hairy.
Well, they weren't hairy then. The French guy was about 15.
Well, exactly.
He was about 15 and cute, and now he's like 40 and really hairy.
Yeah, exactly. We do, but you're right. Most people, let's have a look.
Yeah, you just want to see what they look like now.
But some people,
Another reason why.
Yeah, go on.
Because I didn't have photos of them. It's not like it is now where everyone's got a photo of every single minute of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't actually remember what they look like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And so you go and have a look. And some people, they just have a look, and that's fine. But I think for a significant number of people, and I think it will become more and more common, because the kind of novelty of Facebook has sort of worn off, I think, for our generation. But it will become more and more common, and it has broken up marriages. People have got back together with their first loves. They've left their wives and kids to go off with the person that they lost their cherry to when they were 15 years old. They leave their fiancés because the boyfriend that dumped them when they were 17, that didn't turn up to take them to the school disco, has got back in touch and said, I've spent the last 10 years regretting that decision. Please, and people go off and it breaks up families. So the two key factors in divorce in this country, 0344 499 1000 if you think I'm wrong, the fact that we live longer, and Facebook. It's as simple as that. Julie's on the line. Good evening, Julie.
Good evening.
Good evening, Julie. What you got for us?
I just wanted to tell you how much I'm enjoying this part of the show.
Yep.
And I've just started doing a podcast where I talk to people about music and what it means to them and analyse songs and stuff. And it just kind of struck me that I used to think, when I first heard this song, I used to think it was quite funny because guess what happens in the end. But actually, looking back on it now, I don't know how I would feel if I found that I'd got a date and it turned out to be my husband. I think I'd be really cross.
Well, these days it would be a Tinder date, wouldn't it?
Do you remember? And there's a lot of that. We're coming up to a line. I think the third and fourth line of the first verse. We might get to it just after 11. By the way, we've got until 1 o'clock, and if we don't finish it, we're here tomorrow. But do you remember the episode of Coronation Street where Jack Duckworth was, and I don't remember it. I don't remember how, but he was. I think it was he replied to a personal ad. It must have been based on this song. He replied to a personal ad, and he was exchanging sexy messages, right? And then he was going to meet them bizarrely in the Rover's Return, which seemed a bit stupid. And this glamorous woman walked in, all dolled up and all tarted up. And she took off like a veil or whatever. It was Vera. Yeah. It was Vera. And she chased him out the pub, battering him with her handbag.
Classic.
I wonder...
Which I think is the correct response. Because I think you're supposed to think, oh, do you know what? It turns out, after all, that, we connect on a deeper level and we just didn't realise it. But I think you'd be really cross. But I've also got an opening line lyric.
Go on.
That I think is... And that's from Squeeze Up the Junction, which is... I never thought it would happen with me and the girl from Clapham out on the Windy Common that night. I ain't forgotten.
Do you know what? I like Squeeze. I like Squeeze a lot. I always found Up the Junction quite clunky. I find it... yeah, I do. Because the melody doesn't really... It's just... I don't think there's even a chorus in it, is it? It's just verse, 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 if I remember it correctly. And I know it's one of their early works, but I just find... The rhymes in that song a little bit too... They're trying a little bit too hard, I
Can
think.
I ask you another question then?
Of course you can.
Which is, and obviously I'm plugging a little bit my amateur podcast off my Twitter bio, but what does this song remind you of? Like, do you remember hearing this song when it first came out? Have you got any recollections?
Do I remember... what does it... Ask me that again.
So this song to me, like I was saying, I kind of thought it was quite a funny song that they would meet, and guess what? It's his wife after all. Have you got any recollections around hearing this song or that time when you would have heard this song?
It kind of, for me, fits in and links up quite nicely to a song I played the other day, Andrew Gold, Never Let Us Slip Away, and also Baker Street. And another song, and they all just kind of seem to be on the radio. I don't even know the years. I don't even know if the years correlate. It's how the brain can compress time sometimes. They all just kind of. I'm in the back seat. I'm in the back seat of the car, or being driven somewhere, or my sister's taping the charts on Radio 1. Yes, I am young. I'm a young person.
Yes. Oh, good. I'm just really enjoying it.
Thank you, Julie. 0344 499 1000. You can chip in with this, guys. Don't be shy. You're more than welcome to give us a call and give us your thoughts on Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song, the last #1 in the US of the 1970s by Rupert Holmes. 0344 499 1000. This is the late night alternative. You wouldn't get this on LBC. With me, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. For those about to talk, we salute you.
Basically,
it's lights out, and away we go. That emergency plumbing job is no match for Nigel and his Renault Traffic van. It's his best performance yet. Renault Pro Plus vans are trusted as the logistics partner to the Renault Sport Formula 1 team, delivering vital components day in, day out. See how the award-winning Renault Pro Plus range can power your team with reliability and aftercare service you can count on. Visit one of our Renault Pro Plus specialist dealers to find out more.
Well, they'll get it. First half hour was solid, boom, 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 and now we're just going off on tangents. The clever ones will get it.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got massive stocks on a wide range of trade-quality building products. In July, we've got new lower prices on Facro centre pivot roof windows, like a 550 by 780mm window for only £128 ex-VAT. To find more great trade prices and thousands of products in stock, go to selcobw.com.
Vincent Clare was Jack Duckworth's dating name. Vincent Clare.
Ozil, got. Welbeck, got. Sanchez, got. Ramsey, need.
I'll swap you Sanchez for Ramsey, and you'll have the full Arsenal squad. Then we're all ready for Arsenal's Emirates Cup weekend of football.
Arsenal, Benfica, Leipzig, and Sevilla.
It's Saturday the 29th and Sunday the 30th of July. A day pass including 2 games at the Emirates Stadium.
Well, la pina colada.
Get tickets from Arsenal.com or call 0344 277 3625. Get your special Arsenal sticker program on match day.
Let's get started. Booking fees up to £2.30. Terms and conditions apply.
This is going to stop being funny.
Mother of all talk shows with
really
George Galloway. He's back on Talk Radio.
Listen up, comrades of the world. Unite.
Our glorious leader, George Galloway, returns to the UK airwaves with the mother of all talk shows.
Switchboard is lighting up.
Controversial conversation and cutting-edge current affairs comment with the notorious B.I.G.G. Listen, this guy's a nightmare. He's not a great guy, folks.
The mother of all talk shows with George Galloway. Friday night from 7 on Talk Radio.
I did not say that.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
It is the late night alternative, and tonight we are being very alternative. We are deconstructing the Pina Colada song. Sorry, I'm going to give it its full title because no one does. No one does. Escape brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets, by Rupert Holmes, the last US #1 of the 1970s, only got into the mid-20s in the UK. And I think that's really interesting, because everyone knows that song. Everyone knows that song. And I know it's appeared in loads of movies, you know, some seriously, some ironically, and but it is a very, very famous song. We're on the first, we've just done the first line of the first verse, which was, I was tired of my lady. We'd been together for too long. I'll come to you in a minute, Mark. I just want to get to the second line before 11. Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. Now, that line is... How many words are there? 1, 2... Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. It's 9 words, right? And in those 9 words, he sums up... I'm not taking the mickey here, right? I'm not doing this as a piss take. He genuinely sums up the last 3 months, 6 months, sometimes the last couple of years of a relationship.
And the first, think about it, right?
Yeah.
When you find a brilliant song,
yeah,
what do you do? Especially when
you
when
play
you're young,
it over and over again.
Over and over. You want it again and again and again and again. And then after a while you think, oh, is there nothing better?
Yeah. It's like...
This is sounding old.
I could eat shepherd's pie for dinner every night of my life, but I know that at some point I'd want to change. I wouldn't. At some point I'd go,
or at least you want, like,
have we got cottage pie? You know,
or more carrots in it, or
exactly.
something.
Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. And I love the thing, and this is a real 1970s thing.
You know what it means by worn-out recording?
What, wizard sleeve? Like a joss stick in a cathedral?
No, I just meant that, you know, he'd been in the groove too long.
Well, here's the thing, and it's a real 70s thing, and I don't think... It died out in the 70s. Songwriters singing about songs. I'm going to write a classic. I'm going to write it in an attic. Billy Joel certainly had a couple of songs about songwriting.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Yeah, she did. You don't hear it so much now.
And Narina Palo.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Didn't she write Love Song? Not gonna write you. It's all about being forced to write something she didn't want to.
Okay, well, maybe there's more of it than I...
Sam Smith.
Thought.
Do It for the Love.
Okay, I don't know who Sam Smith is.
Well, he's a modern bard.
Exactly. He's bard. You're bard. Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. So he's saying, you know, he was in love with her. He was in love with her. She was one of his favourite people.
Over-familiar.
But he's over-familiar. It just bored. Now, here is where... We'll get to that in a second. We've got some phone calls. Let's go to Mark. Good evening, Mark.
Evening.
Evening, Mark. What you got for us?
I want to talk about Babushka. And it's like almost the same story, but from an angry woman.
Now, Kath mentioned this. I don't know Babushka that well. Give us the deets.
The first line, of course, Mark, is she wanted to test her husband. She knew exactly what to do. A pseudonym to fool him. She couldn't have made a worse choice. So from the start, it's like foreboding.
Wowzers.
She's catfishing her husband. Whereas this one feels more like a honey trap. You know, it feels a bit more jolly, doesn't it, Mark? But Babushka, you know it's going to end in tears.
Exactly. And the Pina Colada song, Escape, the Pina Colada song, ends sort of happy, like they laugh.
Oh, are we silly?
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Babushka, you get the feeling there's going to be a bobbit.
Well, yeah, you even get, like, the sounds of plates smashing and stuff.
I'm not that familiar with the work of Kate Bush. No, I'm not that familiar. I like the idea of Kate Bush, and my sister went and saw one of her shows when she did that run of shows, and apparently it was amazing. I would like to have seen that. I'm not that familiar with her, but I do think it is a good theme for a song, the exhaustion of a love affair, of a relationship.
As well, that song was in 1980, this one's 1979.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Mark, thank you for that. I appreciate your input. Let's go to Bill. Good evening, Bill.
Wagwan Sexy.
Wagwan Sexy, Bill. What have you got for us this evening, boss?
Well, I just thought I'd give you a call, mate, see how you're doing, son.
I'm good, thank you. We're dissecting the Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes, and I just wondered what your thoughts were on it, Bill.
Una Pina Colada, I wanna swim in lava. I've heard that song somewhere.
Yeah, that's a different song. That's a song by Jonathan King.
Oh, bloody hell, let's not go there.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Oh, my God.
What happened to your last relationship, Bill?
I just got bored, really.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Exactly. Listen to these lyrics. I was tired of my lady. We'd been together too long. Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song.
I can simplify that.
Yeah, go on.
So basically, I give you, after 6 months, you can moan as much as you want. But if you start moaning within the first month, I'm out.
Wow.
Honestly,
yeah.
Because you've got a lifetime of it. You've got a lifetime of it.
Define moaning.
Eh?
What do you mean by moaning? Do you mean like
just things? Oh, you shouldn't drink so much. And, oh, you should go out with your friends. And,
you know what that is?
No, that's too simplified. What I mean is,
she was concerned about your alcoholic tendencies.
No, she thought she wanted to mould you for
a problem, my friend.
For keeps. She's trying to train you up.
It's trying to change me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if here's the thing, right? Here's the thing I've learned. Whenever you get with someone, they will always try and change you. They will always, and it's the person. You decide on whether you're going to stick with that person or not, based quite a lot on how much they're going to try and change you. Because some people will try and change you a lot. And some people will try and change you a little bit and subtly over time.
And some people will just like ask you to wash now and again.
Well,
I love washing.
But there will always be pressure on you, slight or strong, to be slightly different to the person that you are.
Oh, it's all luck as well,
Well, it is luck. Do you buy this thing, Bill? I was thinking about this the other day as I was riding around on my scooter.
I was going to say something else.
Sorry, what? Riding around on girls?
I was going to say riding around on someone.
No. Do you think, right, that there is one person for you?
Yep.
Just one person?
Yep.
But where is she?
I've missed the boat on that, my friend.
Well, here's the thing. If there is one person for you, right, generally... We get together with people, with either people that we work with or people who live near us, right? So
True.
There are 7 billion people on the planet, and the odds of that one person that's just for you living within a 5-mile radius or working in the same office as you is pretty slim. So I've come to the conclusion there isn't that one person for you. There are a number of people for you that have different percentages of how much they are for you. So you might meet someone who's 60% for you or 85% for you.
I've met the 100, my friend.
Oh, what happened there, Billiam?
So basically, this is going back. To be fair, this ain't the punchline, but this is quite interesting.
Okay.
We still work together. But about 4 years ago, I was seeing someone.
Yeah.
But because of religious and cultural differences, and she actually said this. She said we was like, fuck it.
Oh, there we go. So right, we got the dump. Descendion. That's unusual for you, Bill. We've touched a nerve with you on this story because you have been phoning me for years in various states of mental capacity, and you have never sworn before.
No, I used to be sweary on the other places.
Oh, did you?
Very sweary.
Right.
You were very, and I had to win your trust, and I feel like I've just thrown out.
No, don't worry. Go on. You go on. So you're talking about the religious. What?
Yeah. We really liked each other. We saw each other, but we couldn't take it no further.
Yeah. What? Because she was like Christian or something?
No. She was Turkish, which is all nice.
Right.
Which is all nice.
So Muslim.
Yeah, but not even that. It was more of a family thing.
Okay.
She was very religiously. She was very moderate, so that weren't really the issue. But it was more of
they didn't like her going out with you because you were a white English guy. Okay.
They keep the money within themselves, you know.
Right, and so she dumped you then.
Yeah, and it was it's weird because we don't talk now. We say hello, goodbye, blah blah blah.
Wow.
But
And you still hold a candle for her.
No, I always.
Well, then hang on a minute. Then this then she's not the one, if that exists for you.
She still gets upset when other colleagues talk to me about my love life. She goes bright red and she gets all awkward. And
No, but that doesn't mean she's the one.
I don't know. I think I've missed the boat on that.
I think you had a lucky escape.
Well, a lot of people say that, but I don't know, Ian. I don't know. I just get that instinct with her. I've not really met someone I was that into as much that I was willing to change for.
Are you sure it's her and not the idea of her that you like?
Oh, I like that one, Catherine. I like that one.
I've been there, my friend.
Oh, my shrink.
The other thing is, because there was that impediment in the way, you never had to sort of go for it, and so it's a nice, tempting idea.
I went for it.
You had an enemy. You had a common enemy. There was a bad guy there, so she could never become the bad guy because the bad guy was the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's do you know what it is? It's all vibe based, but you can tell we're both in the wrong kind of place, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that's life. I'm getting on with it. I'm soldiering along. I'm Tindering through.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. I doubt you're going to find it on Tinder, mind.
Oh, no, I don't. Oh, honestly, if I could really send... I can't say it on air, but if I could send Ian the transcripts of, some of my Tinder pranks, he'd laugh his head off.
Tinder pranks?
Yeah.
Let me guess. You send sexy messages to ugly girls?
No. I'm far more creative than that, Ian.
Go on, then. What do you do?
So, basically... All right, this is a clean one. There's no swears. There's nothing derogatory. Can I tell you?
Yeah, please do.
So, I'll use a fake name just in case.
Yes.
So, I just put, "Hi, Jess. Sorry for the late reply. I was getting in my car and a hawk swooped down and he picked me up and he flew me off. And the next thing you knew, I was in a strip club and I had no money. And I can't remember. It was better than that, to be fair. But yeah, it was really mad. But I just sent mad ones. And can I tell you this one with no derogatories?
Bearing in mind, people are judging you with every word that comes out of your mouth. But
That's
yes.
all right. No one knows me, so.
Well, you're Bill.
Well, I'm Bill. Who's Bill? I'm just something that comes through the door that you don't like.
Oh, Bill. Go on.
I really like Bill.
All right, so I'll tell you this one without expletives.
Yeah.
So I will ask randomly, and to be fair, it depends if they look pretentious or not. So if they're pretentious, I'll ask them.
If they look pretentious, do you mean if they've got glasses?
No, just the description and all that.
Yes.
You can tell when someone's a bit of a,
Yes. Oh.
So anyway, I asked, say you need to do a number 1 or a number 2 at the same time. Me personally, I sit down and I just chuck up between my legs.
Okay, I've gone right off Bill.
No, it's banter.
It's just banter, Bill. I don't understand that. Of course you'd sit down. You're not going to stand up, do number 1 first, then sit down for the number 2. You do it all at once.
Why does a woman that doesn't know you need to know this?
Here's the interesting thing. I know of 3 people to whom Bill is their favourite caller. Isn't that incredible? Mm-hmm. Dear listener, we're having... this is the late night alternative with me, Iain Lee. She's Catherine Boyle. Sam's going to be the guy answering your phone calls. And this really is as much of an alternative as you could ever get. You wouldn't get this on the other stations. LBC are probably talking about bloody Muslims or something, I don't know, and Duncan Barks be barking on about Brexit. Here, we are deconstructing Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio, 24-hour radio debate and entertainment.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
Lost in conversation.
Do you like Pina Colada?
Lost their internet connection. But now I drive with Uber, so I only work weekends when I feel like it.
Oh, the football's on this weekend.
Like this weekend.
Work or not, at the touch of a button. Find out more at uber.com/driveuk. Uber, where to?
Man, that Hypnos bed is comfortable. Time to get up, work to do. Shower, tick. Shave, tick. Dressed, next question. Time for all-you-can-eat brekkie with the fellas. Bacon, sausages and more bacon. Probably even some beans. Today is a big day. Because you are scaffolders. Whatever your story, this is a great place to start. Premier Inn. Premier You.
Breakfast prices and options may vary. Exclude certain locations.
I fitted another one of those Valent EcoFit boilers today with a V-Smart.
V-Smart?
Yeah, it lets my customer control their boiler from anywhere through an app.
That's smart.
And it can help reduce bills too by making it work even more efficiently.
That's smart too.
It shows energy usage and it'll even connect to a smart home.
That's really smart. Why is it called V-Smart then? At Valent, we're with you all the way. So our EcoFit Pure range is compatible with V-Smart to give complete control. Search Valent V-Smart for more.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Do chip in with your thoughts on what has got to be one of the most sensational songs ever written in the entire history of man. Escape brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets, by Rupert Holmes. This is Talk Radio.
From the Sky News Centre at 11, an extraordinary day at Wimbledon has seen defending champion Andy Murray suffer a shock defeat and Novak Djokovic quit with injury. Murray seemed to suffer with hip problems.
No bed, please, no bed.
The American says he tried not to pay attention to Murray's condition.
Not at all, really. I mean, I kind of noticed it a little bit from the beginning, but I just kind of stayed with my game. I tried to play aggressive and keep swinging after the ball, and I didn't want to, alter my game and try to get into those cat and mouse points because that's where he's really good. I just kept my foot down and just kept trying to pound the ball.
Novak Djokovic retired hurt in his match with Thomas Burdick. Roger Federer and Marin Cilic are through to the semi-finals. Survivors of the Grenville Tower fire have marked 4 weeks since the disaster with a vigil. Mourners silently filed past walls of handwritten tributes in the shadow of the burnt-out building. The King of Spain says he's confident his country and Britain can find a solution to Gibraltar which is acceptable to all involved. King Felipe and his wife have had a state banquet at Buckingham Palace, hosted by the Queen, who's a distant relative of her Spanish counterpart. Donald Trump's pick to be the new head of the FBI says he'd refused to pledge loyalty to the president. Christopher Wray has been before a hearing after being nominated to succeed the fired director James Comey. He's also disagreed with Mr. Trump about the nature of the investigation into his team's links with Russia.
As the future FBI director, do you consider this endeavor a witch hunt?
I do not consider Director Mueller to be on a witch hunt.
Thank you.
The EU's chief Brexit negotiator has hit back at Boris Johnson after he said Brussels could go whistle for the Brexit divorce bill. Michel Barnier said, "I can't hear any whistling, only a clock ticking." And Coca-Cola says it'll increase the amount of recycled plastic in its bottles by 50% after pressure from environmentalists. The world's biggest drinks brand says it aims to meet its new UK recycling target by 2020. That's the latest. I'm Simon English.
Late night, Iain Lee.
Talk Radio. We have ways of making you talk.
I was tired of my lady. We've been together too long. Like a worn-out recording of a favorite song. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the cave, I'm the lady you look for, so write to me and escape.
I spent about a tenner on shit cover version.
I know that sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady have fallen into the same old routine. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, I thought I wasn't
Can you find me the recipe for pina colada? We'll do that, please. There we go. There we go. There we go. Get the recipe. Get the recipe.
Alright.
So I waited with high hopes. She walked in the place. I knew her smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. It was my own lovely lady. And she said, oh, it's you. And we laughed for a moment. And I said, I never knew that you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. And the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, you're the love that I've looked for. So come with me and the champagne. If you like pina colada.
We are deconstructing Escape Rackets, the Pina Colada song, by Rupert Holmes. That's a version by Side Salad. Lots of you have been asking, what is a pina colada, Catherine? I believe you can tell people how to make a pina colada at home. Please drink responsibly.
Of course I can.
Go.
Wash your hands.
Yes.
35 millilitres, that's 1 1/4 fluid ounces of gold rum.
Oy.
1 tablespoon of coconut flavoured rum. 50 millilitres, that's 2 fluid ounces of coconut cream.
Yes.
50 millilitres, 2 fluid ounces of pineapple juice. 3 or 4 pineapple chunks. To serve, 2 pineapple leaves and 1 maraschino cherry.
Oy.
You pour the 2 rums, the coconut cream, the pineapple juice and the chunks of pineapple into a blender and blend until smooth. To serve, pour into a cocktail glass and garnish with pineapple leaves and a maraschino cherry.
I hate... Those are like fake cherries, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of... kind of almost candied, aren't they?
I hate those cherries.
Oh, actually, but they're not what they're called, glacé cherries.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking of, the glacé cherries.
Maraschino's a bit more juicy.
Okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of any form of cherry. We were talking about the fruits at home today, the fruits that we like, and cherries came up as being one that nobody actually likes.
Do you remember that time I made a cherry trifle?
No.
Yeah, I brought it into work. Cherry chocolate trifle. It was gorgeous, but I bought cherries that stuck the stones in.
Oh,
as we
yeah.
discovered
Oh,
when
yeah,
we
you
bit.
did. That was terrible. 0344 499 1000. This really is the late night alternative tonight. We're deconstructing the Pina Colada song. We are on line 3 of verse 1. We're in until 1 o'clock. If we don't finish it tonight, we'll do it tomorrow. This is nice, isn't it?
For the kids.
Little music box version of it I found. I've got a Pina Colada music box. So, first verse. I was tired of my lady. We've been together too long, like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. And it's not a mean. Those aren't mean. It's not a mean rhyming couplet there. It's kind of a it's just weary. It's very weary. Third line. And these next 2 lines are really interesting because this happens now, but take out the newspaper and replace it with your mobile phone and all of the apps, Grindr and Tinder and all of the apps that are available, right? So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And there's a loaded image. You can see it, can't you? You can see them in their bed. And she's, as you look at the bed, she's on the right-hand side, probably got her back to him. She's asleep. He's sat up in bed reading a newspaper. And that image, I think, says so much about that relationship. You know, the bed is where we laugh, we procreate, we make life, we share things. And in that relationship, he's tired of the lady and it will be she's tired of him. There's no spark there in the relationship.
It could be a very lonely place sleeping with someone that you don't fancy anymore.
Oh boy, oh boy. So he's reading... 0344 499 1000, by the way.
Just excuse me a second.
Yes?
I've got you a historian.
Oh, beautiful. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Lying in bed, reading the newspapers, just seeing what sparks his interest. We already know that this guy likes to observe people. He's a viewer of life, a voyeur. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. Wow. And straight away, it's taken 4 lines. And already, and this is the genius, and my tongue is not in my cheek with this. This is the genius of this dude, right, Rupert Holmes. Within 4 lines, we know that he's bored of his relationship. He's tired. He's apathetic. We probably call him depressed these days. It is no longer a physical relationship. And so he's in bed looking at adverts from other lonely souls. And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. Now, there'll be young people listening to this who don't really know what personal columns were. But there's a Monkees song that refers to it from 1968, P.O. Box 9847. So they were certainly around in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. I would wager, I mean, certainly the 50s. Before that, I don't know. But it was a way for lonely people. They were often called Lonely Hearts columns. It was a way for lonely people to make contact with other people. And you would say, you know, I like this, I like this, I don't like this, if you're interested. And it was quite often a P.O. Box number. In the 80s and the 90s, it would be a phone number that people would have to call, and they'd leave a message and people would check their messages. I don't know if it goes on so much now. I'm not sure if it happens now. Can you type on the screen where she's from, please? Because now, of course, we have the internet, and it is all Tinder and Grindr. I've never even looked at these apps. I've had people tell me, you know, you swipe, don't you? You swipe one way if you like them, and you swipe the other way if you're not so keen on them. And it's kind of it's kind of an instant thing, and you need to type it in the box. I can't read it. And it is it's done primarily on looks. I don't think you even really go on interests or likes anymore. I don't think that is necessarily a key thing. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Just going back a little bit, we were talking about dining experiences in Britain in the 1970s and the 80s. And as far as I remember, there weren't really that many restaurants. If you read any book or autobiography about a rock band, they'll always joke about coming to England in the 60s or the 70s and not being able to get food after 10 o'clock at night, certainly not in a hotel. And going out and dining wasn't really the done thing. It was seen as a very posh treat. My parents went out to a restaurant maybe once a month, if that, I'm thinking. Maybe once a month. I'm not sure if it was any more than that. I
think we used to dress up to go to the restaurant.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And now, you know, people eat out. People get food delivered.
People take kids.
Food delivered. Food delivered. Never happened in the 70s and the 80s. Maybe sort of mid-80s you get a Chinese meal delivered. But that was it. That was it. And we were wondering about pina coladas.
Yeah, and whether, because it sounds really cheesy now. You're imagining, you know, in the pineapple-shaped glass with a flipping umbrella outfit.
Yeah.
But back then, I imagine it would have sounded frightfully exotic, and mysterious.
Well, we heard that they wouldn't serve it in one nightclub, Snobs, in Birmingham, until 1992, as they thought it was a gay drink.
Wow.
Here we go. We've got Stella Moss, who is a modern British historian at the Royal Holloway University of London. Evening, Stella.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us at such late notice.
It's a pleasure.
It says on my screen that you have been or you are researching drink and gender in modern Britain. Why are you researching that? What's your interest in that?
So, I'm a modern British social historian, and I got interested in drink because it's such a really important part of everyday life for so many people.
Yeah.
Looking back across history of 20th century Britain and also today, and the kind of things that you're talking about, like the changes in dining and eating, going out, but also drinking as well. They're changes that have affected all of us growing up, our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation. So it's part of our lives, it's part of the fabric of our lives, and that's why I'm interested in it.
It sounds brilliant. I love stuff like this. So thank you so much for coming on. I don't know how old you are. You sound significantly younger than me, but I do remember. What I was saying about the 70s and the 80s. People didn't go out for meals.
No.
There might be a French restaurant in the next town and maybe a curry house, but I guess kind of takeaway food in the 70s and early 80s was fish and chips, and that was it.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely, really minimal. It's changed so much in the last 40 years, the whole experience of dining, eating out and so on. Really, for most people, it would often be a pub. It might be a kind of, like you were saying, once-a-month trip with the family to the pub for a kind of nice meal out. Places like Bernie Inns.
Bernie Inns, yes.
Yeah, Bernie Inns. They arrived on the scene, and it was all about trying to cultivate a kind of experience of going out. Also, at round about the same time, the 70s into the 80s, we start to see the Indian restaurants growing up on the high street, the takeaways and so on. And the whole idea of eating out starts to become not just about the kind of British foods that had been known, but also the whole idea of curry, but also Italian pizza, pasta. And as we go through into the 80s and then into the 90s, the whole type of cuisine that was on the menu for lots of people really started to change.
I interviewed years and years ago. There's a comedian called Simon Day who's in the Fast Show, but he worked at, I think, the first McDonald's in the UK.
Right. Yeah.
For a lot of my childhood, McDonald's was seen as a very glamorous, American, glitzy, exciting thing. Now we I know they keep trying to rebrand, but now we kind of look down at McDonald's. But then it was America on our high street, wasn't it?
Definitely. They were a really big deal, the first McDonald's, the first Wimpy's, a huge deal, the idea of going out, eating out, something that was suitable for kids as well as for mum and dad, things that we might think were quite incidental now, like having no cutlery, actually at the time were a really big deal. So they really started to change experiences of eating out, definitely.
We're discussing the Pina Colada song this evening. Please don't ask why, Stella, because I really couldn't give you a sensible explanation. But I think to understand it a bit, we need to go back. The pub culture in when did pubs become such a big deal?
So really, the pub, as we might think of it today, is really a kind of a Victorian phenomenon, basically. In the 19th century, we get the whole idea of the British pub, somewhere where couples would go, men on night out, women on night out, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That's where it really comes from. Basically, the end of the 19th century. And it continues, changes through the 20th century, obviously, but really it's very much a kind of... it's got its links back into the 19th century.
And it's... where were we? Newcastle. We were in Newcastle the other day. And one of the things I noticed that I didn't mention to you, I saw quite a few old-fashioned boozers.
Yes,
do you know what I mean by that? There was quite a few old-fashioned boozers.
You mean like with the tiled wall?
And apart from the smoke, you look through there, and you could have been Stella looking through into the 1970s or the 1950s. It looked the same. And very few of those old boozers around now.
Yeah. And actually now there's CAMRA and other organisations are putting a lot of effort into preserving them. Even English Heritage and the National Trust are on board in trying to preserve the interiors, because I thought to be such a kind of a part of our national heritage. So you might often think, it's stately homes, places like that are protected, but there's actually quite a bit of interest in the pub as a space and the interiors, like you say, because they're so evocative of times gone by, previous generations.
Can pubs work? I can see a time at some point in the not too distant future when there'll be like a pub museum, because booze now is so cheap in supermarkets. Why would... And the social element of the pub has changed, because we've all got mobile phones, we're all texting each other, we're all on Twitter. people keep trying to save say we need to save the local pub. I just don't see how it can still be there in 50 years' time.
Sure. It'll be really interesting to see what happens, and I know it's a real cause of concern for lots of people. What's happening to the ordinary British boozer? Where's that going? Yes, there's lots of kind of gastropubs and fancy places to eat, and there's been a lot of emphasis on real ale pubs, for instance, in the last few years, trying to get people in. But the whole idea of the sort of ordinary street corner boozer, in many ways, they've obviously been shutting in huge numbers in the last 10, 15 years, and I think you're right. I think there is a kind of sea change really in cultural habits, and who knows what the next 50 years will bring.
The Pina Colada, Stella. This song was it was a big hit in the States in 1979, not so big in the UK. Got into sort of the mid-20s, and we were wondering what if British people would have known what a pina colada was, if it would have sounded again, like the McDonald's, if it would have sounded very exotic and very, something that movie stars drink. Would people have been aware of it in Britain in the late 70s?
Maybe not the very late 70s, but certainly into the early 80s, definitely. It starts to come on the scene. It starts to be one of those exotic cocktail drinks, especially your kind of rum-based cocktail drinks. They start to be, alongside the kind of gin and the vodka cocktails, they start to become more popular, more fashionable. And something like Pina Colada definitely had this exotic image, this kind of appeal of the sort of faraway Caribbean, all of those evocative ideas that were a long way from most people's day-to-day reality of life. Basically what happens is that the whole experience of drinking starts to change in the 60s and the 70s and on into the 1980s, because people start going abroad on foreign holidays.
Of course
Basically,
they do, yes.
Foreign travel gets so much cheaper. You start to get cheap package holidays, and so the kind of drinks that people are interested in, they start to look for at home. They're the kind of experiences people want. In fact, at this time, we get supermarkets licensing for the first time, so you can go off and buy your rum or your vodka or whatever, make it at home if you want to. And so at this time, the kind of 70s into 80s, cocktails start to be really popular. And so while you're right, while it might seem to be cheesy or whatever now, at the time, back then, absolutely. It's like the wine bars, cocktail bars, they're really a part of that kind of early to mid 1980s fashionable. Well,
see what's interesting, which I've just reminded, just going off on a tangent, and I'll let you go. Stella, you have to come on again, because I'm genuinely finding this so fascinating. It's absolutely brilliant. We'll pick your brains again, and I appreciate you coming on at short notice. No, this is great. But I'm reminded of wine. Wine in the 70s and the 80s was very rarely would my parents have wine. And then I kind of remember the late 70s that a bottle of cheap white wine or Blue Nun or something would be introduced over on Sunday lunch. But it was a really rare thing. I remember when my mum first discovered wine boxes. Wow, she was good. But it was a rare thing. But now, and I don't drink. I haven't drunk for years and years. But now I believe that people will have a bottle of wine almost every evening at home in front of the telly.
Yeah, it's been amazing what's happened to wine drinking in the last 30 years. You're absolutely right. People never used to drink wine at home. Most ordinary people it wasn't part of their day-to-day experience. And then gradually, partly because of this kind of foreign holiday appeal, you could get wine in the supermarket. Like you say, the wine box starts to come in. And so you get new types of kind of wine appearing on the scene. And it was often, like you say, Blue Nun, Pied d'Or. Do you remember Pied d'Or?
Pied d'Or. I remember. The only reason I remember that is because I remember. Isn't it funny the silly bits of information you collect in your head? I remember a Rory Bremner sketch. I never used to watch Rory Bremner, but he did a spoof advert called Le Pied Dog, implying that it was quite a cheap and nasty.
Yeah, because the tagline was "The French adore Le Pied d'Or." I'm sure the French would not have touched it.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely kind of blended and a bit, not exactly top-notch vineyard stuff. But,
and making wine. That was it. The first time wine was introduced into my house was when my dad brought home this massive bell jar and a kit. He said, right, I'm making wine.
How hard can it be?
How hard can it be? And I only had a little snifter of it, but boy, that was toxic stuff. That would blow your head off.
Brilliant, excellent.
Stella, listen, I've really enjoyed chatting to you. It's at Stella_Moss if you want to follow her on Twitter. Yeah. We will get you on again, Stella. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem. Pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. What a lovely lady.
She's superb, right?
Isn't she good?
I got in touch with her on Twitter.
Yeah.
I said, oh, no, I can't do it tonight. And then I told her what it was about. She went, oh, I'm writing just about that. She was tempted.
Absolutely brilliant. We'll carry on deconstructing the Pina Colada song because I see Jerry's getting queued up. We might need to go and help because we had another call that dropped off there. 0344 499 1000. This is the late night alternative on Talk Radio. She was brilliant. Well done, Boyley. Well done, Boyley.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
At Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, we're proud to be the first in the UK to have city emergency braking as standard across our entire range of vans. At low speeds, this clever technology scans the road ahead for vehicles, automatically applying the brakes if they get too close. So you're less likely to be involved in an accident, meaning your van spends more time where it should be, on the road.
Do you like Pina Coladas?
What's stopping you? Volkswagen
This is one of the best shows we've ever done. Isn't it funny, the stuff that
from the 1st of June
just gets fired off in your head
operates at 18 miles an hour or less. The 2015 Euro NCAP study showed a 38% reduction in real-world rear-end crashes by vehicles with autonomous emergency braking.
At Homebase, we're all about summer value for your garden. Save £40 on this Sovereign 40cm self-propelled petrol lawnmower, now only £99.99. Homebase, always low prices.
The trials begin. Families at war. Battles for the throne until you can take no more.
No more?
Okay,
Perfect.
one more.
Perfect.
How about loads more? With the Now TV Entertainment Pass, you can stream every new episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. Plus, you'll also get a 14-day free trial. Just search Now TV Game of Thrones.
No bed, please, no bed.
Exactly. Want to watch at mine? I've got Chris. 18 plus, new customers only, pass also renews at $7.99 a month unless cancelled.
Don't ignore it's the law to have a Don't ignore the workplace pension. Get to know your responsibilities with help from the pensions regulator. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Let's have it.
And Talk
No
Radio.
microphones.
We'll get you talking. Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Whack these speakers up, sir. Come on, let's love this. Let's enjoy this. It translates. I love the way she's updated that to include the line about Facebook.
Well, that's exactly where he would go, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. We got some calls on this. Let's go to Cristiano. Good evening, Cristiano.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I do have to say, we have only just completed the first verse of the deconstruction of the Pina Colada song, but we are here until 1, and if we don't finish it tonight, we will be finishing it tomorrow. And Catherine, please tell the listeners who's coming on this show next month.
Rupert Holmes.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's been working like a trooper. Not only did she get us a booze historian, but she's got us Mr. Rupert Holmes himself will be on this show next month, guys.
All I have to do is put an advert in a local paper and a carnation behind my ear.
Oh, man alive. Cristiano, what have you got for us tonight, buddy?
I just thought I would come on, just give you a hand.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, I love your show.
Yes.
I'm watching on Periscope this evening.
Yes, sir.
And I feel that you're grasping at straws.
So, say that again, buddy.
Grasping at straws.
What do you mean by that?
Well, normally I think, oh yeah, great topic.
Yeah.
And this evening,
yes.
I like Pina Colada.
Do you?
No.
Oh. Well, I'm confused as to what I'm confused. I don't drink. I don't know what your point is.
There isn't one.
Right.
And that's my point.
This
evening,
to say what's going on here.
Well, this evening, Cristiano. So, sorry.
Have you run out of stuff to talk about?
Oh God, no! We've got another 3 or 4 verses. Yeah, got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Oh, please don't.
No. We're gonna deconstruct the first chorus in a bit.
Really?
Yo, yes. Do you not like pina coladas and drinking champagne in the rain? Is that the problem?
Well, I like champagne in the rain.
You do what?
I love champagne in the rain.
Well, then you should. I bet you're into yoga. I bet you're into yoga, and that's why you don't like this song. We're getting to that bit in a minute.
Oh, pina coladas, I like, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise we had a virgin on the phone. That explains everything. Cristiano, let me ask...
The reason I called.
Well, the reason you called was to tell me you think the show's shit tonight. I'm here to tell you, sir. I am here to tell you, Cristiano, you are wrong. You are wrong. You phoned up to try and knock the home of free speech. And you are wrong, sir. This is what the public want. The public want deconstruction of Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song. And this is what they are getting.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Well, they are. They literally are.
Oh, they're so not.
Well, they are. No, they are. That's what they're getting, is a deconstruction. They're literally getting a deconstruction of Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song. How's your... Cristiano.
I wish I got paid for this.
Cristiano, how's your... Let me ask you a question. How's your radio show going?
Really good.
Well, what are you talking about on your show?
Well, my show, we're talking about this evening... magnet is what we're talking about.
Magnet?
Yeah, magnet.
Magnet?
Yes, magnet.
Just one magnet?
No.
2? How many? You said magnet?
Magnets.
Magnets.
You're talking about magnets?
Yes.
Do you know what? It's not. I was trying to knock in there.
But magnets
is magnets is genuinely a brilliant... How many calls are you getting?
1.
Oh, because we've had loads. I've got 2 more on the screen.
You haven't.
We have still had...
I rang.
Yes.
Got straight through.
Yes.
You've got no call.
No, I've got... Cristiano.
Because it was a little bit boring. I hung up.
Right.
And then you rang me back.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Cristiano, that's very rude about our guest who's a booze historian. That's rude.
I wasn't talking about the guest.
Well, that's the bit you were listening to when you were on the phone before you hung up. All right? Because I saw you on the screen. So don't give me that. We've got 2 calls lined up, and yet I'm still letting you phone up.
There's 1.
No, there's not. There's 2. Hang on a second. Steve?
Steve's gone.
Yeah. No, Steve's there. Hello, Steve. Right, Steve's there. Hang on a minute. You're right, Jerry.
I'm number 2.
There we go, you see, Cristiano.
I'm a massive fan of Jerry. Hi, Jerry.
No, I'm not letting you talk to him. I'm not going to let him talk. I'm not going to let him soil his ears with your bitter spew.
I don't know whether your producer does this, Cristiano, but sometimes we put the plum on first.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
No, you wouldn't, because you're a moron. That's why. You're a moron.
Oh, how rude.
Huh? Hello?
Rude. How rude. Rude.
Well, yeah, but you phoned up to say that the show's rubbish. That's rude.
No, I didn't say it was rubbish. I said it was boring.
Well, okay, you phoned up to say the show's boring. That's rude. Why?
No,
it's rude. Cristiano, it's rude. And here's the thing. You could just switch. You're not only are you listening to it, you're watching it on Periscope, but you're bored of it. And you phoning up to tell me you're bored isn't going to make me go, oh no, Cristiano in Milton Keynes is bored. I better do something else. It's going to make me do the same thing tomorrow, buddy. Thanks for calling, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's go... I enjoyed that. Let's go to Jerry. Evening, Jerry.
Hello, number 2.
You are number 2. You are not a number. You're certainly not a free man. You are Jerry.
I don't know what's going on tonight because I've got no internet. Can't listen to the show at all.
We're deconstructing Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song.
Pina chocolate. You must be sophisticated.
There we go, you see. Exactly.
He knows.
Is there life in Peckham?
Is there life on Mars? What's that noise in the background?
Call bell, someone's ringing the call bell.
Hey.
Not me.
Hey, guys.
Do that later.
Hey, guys. What you got for us, Jerry?
Not much. I must have got to Talk Sport. I ring down to get the number. I rang Talk Sport up to get the number.
You rang TalkSport to get our number?
Yeah.
Well...
Got a member like, they got them internet, so I can't find out what number it is.
I'm glad you did that. In fact, everybody should phone up TalkSport.
Yeah.
What's the TalkSport number?
08717 223344.
Everyone should phone them up and go, just want to let you know I'm not listening to you. We're listening to Talk Radio because your show is rubbish.
He said, but he said, he got club to sport, said, don't follow football.
Oh.
Said, just want North Talk Radio.
I had a very brief discussion with a cab. I've been getting a lot of cabs while my car has been fixed. I had a very brief discussion. Do you watching the tennis? No. Why not? It's boring. What sport do you like? None. They're boring.
Did I see you on Watchdog or something with a Volkswagen Golf a couple of years ago?
I was on Watchdog about my Renault Clio about 10 years ago.
Something kept breaking down motors.
No, I don't have much luck with cars, Jerry, but I don't have much luck with life.
Oh, no, you do. You're a good man.
Thank you very much. Well, listen, we've got to move on because we're talking about the Pina Colada song. 0344 499 1000. Steve!
Hello.
Good evening, Steve. Steve, yes?
Hello, mate.
Yes.
All right.
Good, good.
Am I on? Sorry, I can't hear you that well, but, wine.
Clear your ears out.
Talking about... Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Wine.
Yes.
Oh, crikey. I'm a South London boy. I actually know Danny Baker fairly well.
Okay.
Not that well.
Oh.
But I met a young woman called Netta in the 80s, and she introduced me to wine. And she was middle class, and I'm working class, and so I didn't know what wine was, really. No. I didn't understand the sort of, and essentially what happened was she just said, this is good, this Pinot is good, this bit is good, this bit is good.
Yes.
But I just got pissed anyway. It was kind of awful. Yeah. And I know you don't drink.
No.
And you haven't drank for a while, have you?
Quite a long time. Quite a long time, yes.
And, I don't want to get into all that, but to me, it was kind of, it set in train in my little head. Yes. This idea that perhaps alcohol isn't that great, and I looked at my parents, and my mum's okay. My dad was just dipso basically. Yes. And when I met this girl Netta, she was lovely, and she's still about, and hello Netta and all that. But she taught me all about wine, and it, I don't know, alcohol. I just wish I could just let it go, really. Sorry, I know you're not Alcoholics Anonymous. This is not.
Well, hang on a minute. This has started off as one thing, and it feels like this call is veering into something else. Are you saying that you drink too much?
Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because of Netta.
Well, no.
It's
not Netta's fault.
Of course not.
It's my fault. And this is. I'm now an elderly fellow, much older than you.
Yes.
Almost as old as Danny Baker, but not quite.
Yes.
And I just think it's overrated. I really do think. I love pubs. I love meeting. I'm gregarious. I like meeting people and talking to people, but I don't know. I don't know why you stopped drinking. I don't. That's your.
There wasn't enough booze in the world to satiate my desire for it.
Okay. But I'm not quite like that, really. Because I've had a couple tonight.
Oh, yeah. There's a surprise.
And, and I'm thinking, I don't know. It's my birthday tomorrow, by the way.
Hey, well, happy birthday for 20 minutes' time.
Well, thank you.
What are you going to be, 58?
Oh, how did you know that?
Yay! See?
How did you know that?
Steve, I only say it when I'm confident.
Well, you're absolutely right. I am going to be 58 tomorrow.
No, good for you.
Oh.
What you got planned for the day? You got anything nice planned?
Yeah, it's nice. My little one's coming over, and my big one's in Italy at the moment. I've got two girls, two daughters. And
May I? And how old? You say little ones. How old are they now?
Well, one's 18, one's 24.
Here we go.
So
still your babies.
And I'm just gonna play the. I'm sorry, and I apologise to everyone. I'm just gonna have a beat all day tomorrow.
Yes, son, get in there.
And that's all I'm gonna do.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna watch Hard Day's Night. I'm gonna watch Help. I'm gonna watch the films. I'm gonna put. I've got this brand new mono sort of white album thing that I haven't played yet. And so I'm going to do that, and we're going to have I'm hoping to actually not have a drink tomorrow. That would be a good thing, I think, for me and for my girls, and for and for possibly for the world.
Steve, you're a good man. And no, you are. You're a good man, and I hope you have a beautiful day tomorrow with the kids.
Yes, thank you, Ian.
I've got to move on because I've missed 2 ad breaks and I'm late. But it's nice to talk to you, man. Call again, won't you?
Yeah. See you, man.
Hang in there, buddy. 0344449. What a nice man. What a nice man. Terry and CJ, stay there. Come to you in a bit. 03444991000. You see, I mean, I could explain to you what I'm doing, but I think that would ruin the magic slightly if I pulled back the curtain to, who was the guy that was complaining?
Cristiano.
To Cristiano, we're just deconstructing the Pina Colada song. But to everyone else, yeah? You dig? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. This is the Late Night Alternative with me, Iain Lee, on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
A new kind of talk radio. We'll get you talking. Uber and Talk Radio. Work or not at the touch of a button.
She was lovely. Newer stuff. And,
my name is Candace. I'm 34 years old. Football lover. Father of one. Before
we'll get back. We'll definitely get her back.
Uber, I was working as a parcel delivery driver.
Yes, I like pina coladas.
More time for my daughter. I got more freedom, better life now. I have to be honest, So it did help me quite a lot. I don't have to be there every day. It's more professional. Everything's done by app. You get to meet quite a lot of people. There are really funny people out there, especially at night time after 12. So it's really fun talking to them. I mean, when you're driving and when you talk to someone, time goes quickly as well. And I really enjoy one.
Yeah, my Uber drivers were great.
Work or not at the touch of a button.
One last night.
Where to?
Would not shut up.
Visit uber.com/driveuk to find out.
I just wanted to close my eyes and have a little dozy-dozy on the way home.
Sanchez,
I'll swap you Sanchez for Ramsey, and you'll have the full Arsenal squad. Then we're all ready for Arsenal's Emirates Cup weekend of football.
Yeah, look, here's how you get started. Hello, sir, where are you going to?
It's Saturday the 29th and Sunday the 30th of July. That day pass including 2 games at the Emirates Stadium.
Yes, I like pina coladas.
0344277365.
Only just
Get
done
your special
verse
Arsenal
1.
sticker program on match day.
And it's nearly 2 hours gone. This is brilliant. We'll do it with
TV show.
you could do it with like a comedy sketch.
You've read the best-selling book and you've drunk the intoxicating aftershave. Now, check out the Jerry Springer Radio Show right here only on Talk Radio. Join me, Jerry Springer, live on tape from a coffee shop in Kentucky and enjoy the very best after-hours conversation, recreation, and just a little caffeination. It's Tales, Tunes, and Tomfoolery on the Jerry Springer Radio Show this Saturday from midnight only
that sounds
on
all right,
Talk
actually.
Radio. We'll get you talking. Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
let's go to Terry, and then we'll try. I would love to break the back of the verse. Sorry, the back of the chorus before midnight if we can. 3 hours tomorrow may not be enough. Terry.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Terry.
How are you doing? You all right?
Very, very well, thank you, mate. What have you got for us?
Nothing at all.
Oh.
No, I was just on YouTube and I was looking through I was looking at all your rabbit hole stuff, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the videos and then I seen this live stream, you know, and I thought I'll have a listen.
So have you never listened before?
Not live, no.
Oh, mate, well you've picked a strange one to listen to live. We're deconstructing the Pina Colada song.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I don't even know this song. But I mean,
do you know?
Is this a modern? We looked at it, you know. Is this a modern version? Because I'm thinking of like an old version of Pina Colada.
The version I just played was a German, the modern version. But yes, it's a 1979 song by Rupert Holmes.
That modern version sounds like it could be on Eurovision.
It does. I mean, I wasn't particularly a fan of it, but I've literally spent well over a tenner on different versions of the Pina Colada song while we've been on air tonight. So I'm going to...
versions?
Yeah, there's loads of them. There's loads... Hey, here we go. Let me play you a bit of one. Hang on a second. Have a listen to this. This is great.
Right.
Here we go. Listen to this.
Right.
Hang on. Here we go. I wasn't there with my lady. We've been together too long. Like a worn-out recording of a favourite song. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. If you love pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape, then I'm the love that you look for. Write to me and escape. I didn't think about my lady. I know that sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, I thought it wasn't half bad. Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food. I am into champagne. I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape at a bar called O'Malley's, where we'll plan our escape. So, hopes, I don't know if this is incidental, and walked in the place. I knew her smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. Oh, God, no. It was my own... Oh. I don't know where we are now. A little bit lost.
I think she said...
No, but I think this is the thing. I thought it was instrumental. I knew her smile in an instant. I'm taking a gamble. I knew the curve of her face.
As was he.
Oh, man. It was my own bollocks.
Not your own bollocks, surely.
They tricked us there. Well, these things happen. These things happen.
That was like a lullaby version.
Yes,
Very tender.
It was a little bit short there, guys. We came up short, but nice harmonies. I felt like Paul and George at Shea Stadium. It felt like Bob Dylan and George Harrison at the concert for Bangladesh. So this is what we do, Terry. Mondays to Fridays, 10 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm glad you found us. Please spread the word.
Will do.
Next time, join in with the singing.
Yes, please, Terence.
Oh, was that supposed to join in? I don't actually know the words.
No, well...
Neither do we.
Terry, thank you very much for your call. It is appreciated. Good evening, CJ.
Hello.
Yes?
This is good radio. This is good radio.
Well, I'll be the judge of this. And that.
I was wondering if we could ring up Talk Sport on my other phone and then tell them the rubbish.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair play.
I've got me other phone here. I can put it on speaker.
I'm always up for trolling those losers.
Fantastic. Okay, let's see if this works.
Oh, yeah.
Finger on the dump button, gentlemen.
Yes.
Any minute now.
Sorry?
Thank you for calling. Here we go.
What a rip-off.
Is that export? Yours is like real, like cheap.
Yes. Yes,
I
I know, because I insisted.
Was that you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, actually. I do. Yes.
Now's a striker. They're changed to a 4-4-2. Oh, we can hear it now.
What a surprise, they're talking about boring old football while we're talking about the Pina Colada song.
4-4-2.
So, when you ring them, it doesn't go through an operator, it goes straight
It will do. It will do eventually.
Oh. Should have tried LBC, that would have been better. Oh, this is good, isn't it?
You know that thing you said at the start of your call about this being good radio?
It's not now.
They're terribly slack. Normally, we answer much quicker.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I just wanted to ring up and say I'm not listening to your show. I'm listening to Iain Lee's show. I just want to say your show's rubbish and Iain Lee's is better. Alright, cheers, mate. Cheers, thank you.
He was very polite.
He was, wasn't he?
He was definitely doing the fingers, though.
He was very, very polite.
I felt it.
CJ, you're a naughty man. Thank you very much indeed. So you heard the chorus there. Let's have a little look at it in greater detail. 0344 499 1000. He's reading the ad, and genuinely, this is poetry, right? He's described this wonderful scene. We've got to go to the news in a minute. He's described this wonderfully a scene bereft of love and passion in 4 lines. Then in 4 lines, he gives himself a little bit more space to write a Lonely Hearts ad in 4 lines. And it's poetry, right? It's genuinely, this is poetry. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Now, we've talked about pina coladas, the glamour, the excitement, just the it sounds like money, it sounds like the danger, it sounds like travel.
Exotic.
Getting caught in the rain, well, that's a bit weird. Suddenly you're thinking...
It's reckless.
Exactly. Recklessness. Suddenly, so someone who's glamorous and likes the finer things in life, but is also nuts. Yeah. You know, in that fun, sexy, exciting way. Have you ever had sex outside in the rain?
I'm pleading the fifth.
I have. I've just remembered it. With an older woman. And with an older woman, I was 24. Say older, she was like 33 or something. Oh, God, what a... And we had sex... It was in her back garden.
Right.
And it was pouring with rain. And do you know what I said? Can we go in? I'm getting a bit wet. I actually did. Oh, she was an amazing woman. Wowzers. Golly gosh, I'd forgotten all about that. And then, now remember this song, right, comes from the 1970s. Okay, so the next line is magnificent at puncturing the pomposity and airy-fairiness of a lot of 70s American culture, particularly the Californian side of things. This is such a great line, right? if you like pina coladas getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, because the 70s in America would have been a lot of, I'm looking for someone who's into meditation and yoga and aligning their chakras. So in those, if you're not into yoga, 5 words, right? In those 5 words, he has totally taken a pin, got the balloon of pomposity of 70s far-fetched, kind of brown lentils and waterbeds and Hare Krishna, and stuffed that pin in there. Beautiful.
You're missing something here.
Yeah, go on.
It's not him writing it, it's a woman writing it.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying, that he is... I'm talking about Rupert Holmes
right.
as the writer. Yeah, but
so
you're
this is a
absolutely right.
woman saying, she doesn't want a yoga bunny.
Do you know what? You're absolutely well done for pointing out. Yes, I was talking about him as the songwriter, but what he is... The guy's a genius, right? And he genuinely is now I'm doing this. Because you're right. He's not writing a lonely... He's not just writing a Lonely Hearts ad. He's being the woman that is writing the Lonely Hearts ad. God, this is good. It's like Inception.
The image of a woman doing yoga is attractive.
Yeah.
The image of a man doing yoga, to this woman in particular, not so much.
This guy just can't get enough of the show. Cristiano.
Hello, mate. Are you still talking about pina coladas?
Are you still talking about magnets?
Yes.
Yes, then we are as well. Yes.
North and south.
North and south. Opposites attract.
I've been with my toddlers this evening watching YouTube about magnets.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because science is good.
Science is good. So, pina coladas. You had a few?
No.
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 Well, you've got 20 seconds to explain what you've called in for.
Okay, I've called in to thank you for getting me onto podcast.
Yes.
I've been listening to Keith and the Girl.
Yes.
I've been listening to This American Life.
Have you been listening to our show?
Oh, yeah, every day.
There we go, that'll do. Thank you very much indeed.
There is hope.
This is the late night alternative with me, Iain Lee, her Catherine Boyle, on Talk Radio.
Radio. Talk and entertainment across the nation.
English breakfast and some water. This is great.
Give it some lead.
And some chocolate.
It's lights
no
out.
chocolate.
And away we go. That emergency plumbing job is no match for Nigel and his Renault traffic van. It's his best performance yet. Renault Pro Plus vans are trusted as the logistics partner to the Renault Sport Formula One team, delivering vital components day in, day out.
Right.
See how the award-winning Renault Pro Plus range can power your team with reliability and aftercare service you can count on. Visit one of our Renault Pro Plus specialist dealers to find out more.
Gary's not in the office. Gary's in Marbella, applying after sun to his shoulders at the poolside bar. He's having a lovely time, but he's also missing out on business. With e-receptionist, Gary could have had all his calls professionally answered and diverted to other numbers or to colleagues, so he never misses out on business. But instead, he's getting burned on 2 fronts. Go to ereceptionist.co.uk to find out more and to sign up for your free 30-day trial. Free trial must be cancelled within 30 days to avoid charges. Man, that Hypnos bed is comfortable. Time to get up, work to do. Shower, tick. Shave, tick. Dressed, next question. Time for all-you-can-eat brekkie with the fellas. Bacon, sausages and more bacon. Probably even some beans. Today is a big day. Because you are scaffolders. Whatever your story, this is a great place to start. Premier Inn, Premier You.
Breakfast prices and options may vary. Exclude certain locations. Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Talk Radio.
Another hour to go. I hate to disappoint you. I don't think we're going to get the whole song fitted in, that's better, by 1 o'clock. So we may have to carry this over tomorrow. Hope that's okay. This is the late night alternative on Talk.
From the Sky News Centre at midnight, on a dramatic quarter-finals day at Wimbledon, the top 2 men's seeds are out. Andy Murray, the defending champion, went out in 5 sets to the American 24th seed.
No bed, please.
Novak Djokovic retired injured in his match with Thomas Burdick. It means Roger Federer is the only one of the big
You've worked out the gag, yes.
After beating Milos Raonic this afternoon.
I'm playing very well. I'm rested. I'm fresh and I'm confident too, and then great things do happen. Confidence is a huge thing.
Hundreds of mourners have held a silent vigil for victims of the Grenville Tower fire 4 weeks since the disaster. Candles have been placed next to walls which are covered in handwritten messages. Meanwhile, the incoming boss of the local authority has defended criticism after saying she's never set foot in a high-rise flat. Elizabeth Campbell is leader of
So the fact that I may not have been to the 21st floor of a particular tower block, I think is irrelevant.
King Felipe of Spain says he believes his country and the UK can overcome their differences about Gibraltar. Addressing Parliament earlier, he also warned any Brexit deal must give UK-based Spaniards sufficient assurances for the future. The Supreme Court has ruled a gay man will be able to give his husband the same pension rights as a wife would receive. The decision means if John Walker dies, his husband is entitled to a spouse's pension as long as they remain married. The Prime Minister has asked a committee to look into intimidation experienced by parliamentary candidates. Some of those who stood at the general election faced anti-Semitic and racist comments, intimidation, slashed tyres and death threats. And scientists say an iceberg more than a quarter of the size of Wales has broken away from an ice shelf in western Antarctica. A crack in the Larsen C ice shelf appeared more than 10 years ago. That's the latest. I'm Simon English.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Blimey, mate, thanks for ringing. Ridiculous way to earn money, isn't it?
Until they stop us, this is our job.
I've got 2 degrees.
It's just the melody, and this is the thing, actually. We haven't really spoken about it. We've talked about the history of the song and the social setting, you know, what the drink, the pina colada means. Good evening, by the way. This is Iain Lee. Catherine Boyle is here, and Sam is through there taking your phone calls, 0344 499 1000. And this just shows what a stunning piece of work this is. In the first 2 hours, we've not even mentioned the tune.
No.
And the tune is, I mean... Well, this is it done as a music box. There's a lullaby version. We've had a disco version. I've got a dance 128 beats per minute version. It's a great little tune. It's almost like like a nursery rhyme. I mentioned John Lennon was good at writing nursery rhymes, and it may have sounded like a dig. The other day I mentioned it. Imagine is a nursery rhyme. But actually, you try writing a nursery rhyme. Try writing a nursery rhyme. People who knock Barry Manilow. You go write a song half as good as Mandy, and then you can come and knock him.
But you see, the thing about that tune and,
Yep.
and having this music and then that
Oh,
and the lyric that it has
yes.
is that it lifts it. So you're not thinking, what a
Yeah.
slime ball.
Yeah.
You're thinking, oh, this is jolly.
Yeah.
This is a bit
Yeah.
of fun.
Oh, and this is the thing. It's one of those great songs that hardly anyone knows what it's actually about. You think it's a jolly song about a bloke going on a date with a woman he's met in an ad. Most people don't know what the punchline is, and we've had it mentioned a few times, but most people don't know what the punchline
But I
is.
think you can also be deceived by the tune.
Yeah.
So thinking, even when you've heard the punchline,
Yeah.
it's just a couple having a bit of
Yeah.
fun with each other.
Oh, no, completely. Completely. And that is another aspect of Rupert Holmes's genius. It is... I was thinking a lot about Bob Dylan recently because turns out the Elvis Costello audiobook goes on for over 20 hours. And he's talking a lot. There's a lot of names being dropped, and he hangs out with Bob Dylan a lot. And I'm not a fan of Bob Dylan, but I would like to see him live actually, because I'd like to tick him off the list.
I can appreciate his cleverness.
Yeah. But Bob Dylan, I find, is quite. There's one tone. That's a bit hard. There are a couple of tones, as my boys found out yesterday when I sang "Lay Lady Lay" to them, and they were in hysterics for some reason.
I remember a boy singing me that to me once, and I laughed as well. But that was mostly because he was doing the voice.
Lay across my big breast, babe. But very rarely with Dylan do you get the juxtaposition of a pop melody, a nursery rhyme melody, a melody for 5-year-olds. And that's not. I don't mean that as an insult. It's a great compliment. I'd love to write a song that 5-year-olds would be able to sing, coupled with adult themes of loneliness, depression, sadness, perceived betrayal, and reconciliation. The juxtaposition is the thing. We're halfway through the second line of the first chorus. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, remember this is from the perspective of a woman. If you have half a brain, brilliant, delicious. It's witty, it's sharp.
So what she's saying is,
Yeah.
I don't want someone who's totally self-obsessed
Yeah.
physically, and I because I want someone to stimulate my mind.
Yeah.
I don't want a meathead.
And then these next two lines, right? Flipping it, they're brilliant. The next line is one of the sexiest lines in popular music. I mean, it is filth. It is horn dog. It is just, whoa. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes of the Cape. Now, I don't know what Cape that is. I don't know where that would be. I imagine the Bahamas or something like Jamaica.
Exactly. Remember the music again.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost a sort of Caribbean feel, isn't it?
If you like making love at midnight, spontaneity, danger, excitement, you're outside having sex. This is a woman who wants thrills. But, then this last line, and Callum, I will come to you in a second. This last, so you get the impression from those first three lines, particularly that third one, that she is someone who lives a very dangerous, carefree,
reckless, abandoned,
hedonistic life. Right? And then this last line, I think, is really sad. Okay, then I'm the love that you've looked for, not looking for. And there's something in that, not looking for, the one you've looked for, and the one you've looked for, write to me and escape. And in that word escape, she's kind of saying, because my life sucks.
Trapped.
I'm trapped. I'm lonely and I'm trapped. We'll get back to this in a second. Callum's called in. Good evening, Callum.
Evening, you alright?
I'm all right, thank you, Callum.
I've got a conspiracy theorist.
Beautiful.
Is
it about the Pina Colada song?
No.
That's a shame. Okay.
I've been looking at flat Earth theory for the past 6 months, and I'm pretty convinced it's flat.
Okay, what's giving you that?
Well, the oldest globe model I didn't realise till recently was 1492, and all the ancients and monolithics had it flat, and the horizon looked flat.
Right.
And if you look at the sun and moon, they do look the same size.
Yes.
East and
Can I prove to you the Earth is round? Spherical?
You can if you want.
Have you ever sat on a beach?
I have, loads of times.
Yeah. And looked out to sea?
Yeah, looks flat.
Yeah, it does look flat. It does look flat. That's the thing. Have you ever seen a boat coming towards you over the horizon?
Yeah, and it disappears. Beyond perception.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? When the boat's coming towards you, you don't see the whole outline of a tiny boat coming towards you getting bigger and bigger, do you? No. You see, like, the tip of the funnel. Then you see, you see a bit more of the funnel. Then you see a bit of the hull. And then eventually you see the whole ship. Why would that be, Callum?
I think it's rocking at sea and it disappears beyond perception, but if you're into a tall building, you'd see further like the sun.
I've got one.
There's no such thing as darkness, it's polar light.
There's no such thing as darkness. Okay, wow.
Have you ever been to a port? Have you ever been to, for example, Dover?
No, but I've been to Isle of Wight and near there.
Yeah, okay.
Portsmouth.
Where's the next country to there? Where does that?
France.
Can you wave to France from there?
You can see it. It's flat.
You can see it.
Water and curve.
Okay, here's another one. Why? Right, if the Earth is flat, why when if I stand on a hill, can't I see the Eiffel Tower?
Depends where you're looking from, I suppose.
Well, if I'm looking in the direction of the Eiffel Tower, why can't I see it? I've got like binoculars, really good ones, not the ones you get in a petrol station, old ones from an army surplus shop. Why can't I see the Eiffel Tower?
I suppose you can see Blackpool Tower from, is it, Lytham St Anne's? Cause it's
right, not talking about that. I'm talking about, if the Earth is flat, why can't I see the Eiffel Tower from a really tall building? I've been on top of the Shard, right? Catherine and I have stood on the top deck.
London. There's too much buildings in the way.
No, there's not. No, there's not. No, there's not. Don't be so stupid. This is the point I'm calling him stupid on. The man who's just said there's no such thing as darkness. No, we stood on top of the Shard, right? No, we stood on top of I've been on top of BT. We've been on BT Tower, right? Been on BT Tower. I can't see the Eiffel Tower.
It's just too far from our perception, our view.
Callum, do you realise how nuts you sound?
I've been told nuts, but it doesn't really bother me.
No.
I'm a bit laid back for that.
Yes.
I'm a spiritualist, but I'm not like David Babcock. I like to be a bit more mellow.
Yeah, David Babcock got very angry, and I just have to. Can I just say, Catherine, I will let you come in. I'll let you come in. But we did have a few complaints about David Babcock's attitude to some of the callers last night, and I would like to apologise, and perhaps. I should have stepped in and calmed things down. Perhaps Catherine, as producer, should have told me to step in.
I think I did.
And calm things down.
Catherine thinks it's funny there.
Yeah, I think she does, Callum, and that's the problem.
She stood there laughing.
Yeah, she was, wasn't it?
Hey, why are you stirring it, Callum? Why are you stirring it?
Nothing. You just make me laugh.
You be careful, Callum.
Anyway, Catherine, I believe you were going to say something before we started flirting with
when we went to New, I'm not flirting with you. We went to New York, right? It took us longer to go than it did to come back. Why do you think that is, Callum?
There's a thing. They don't always take quickest flight to get more money. Airline companies and things.
They did call it's not a taxi. They've not got a meter on. It's not got a meter on.
What's at the
I think Jetstream flows that way, doesn't it? As well?
What's on the other side of the North Pole?
Well, North Pole, if you look at Flat Earth model, centre. So it's Antarctic's all the way around, and there's land beyond that.
Where's the South Pole
like
then?
A clock.
Where's the South Pole?
It's all the way around like a clock. No, like a clock face.
Yeah.
It's on that model.
So right, so the North Pole is where the centre of the clock.
Yes.
Where are we? 2 o'clock? 2:30?
Britain's just a bit further down.
So what, about 3:15?
Yeah.
Okay.
How come the water doesn't fall off?
Yeah. I know the answer to this, because glaciers. We're surrounded by glaciers. Ice walls.
Blame answer, please.
Oh, sorry.
He's more than capable.
Well.
Callum.
I'm not really sure. Well, they reckon it's a glass dome, but I'm not convinced it's glass.
A glass dome?
But,
like in the Simpsons movie?
Yeah, there's truth to it, but I don't want to show it's glass, because nothing's really physical. It's only physical because we're in his bodies, but when we leave us, not going to.
Okay, thanks very much for calling.
He destroyed you there.
He did. Nothing's really physical. Sorry,
sorted.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. The late night alternative on Talk Radio.
Talk Radio, digital debate for the UK.
I think that finds it funny.
We'll get you talking. The trials begin. Families at war, battles for the throne, until you can take no more.
No more?
Okay, one more.
How about loads more? With the Now TV entertainment
You'll
Plus,
have
you can stream every episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. Plus, you'll also get a 14-day free trial. Just search Now TV Game of Thrones.
And let your trial begin.
Exactly. Want to watch at mine? I've got crisps. Ooh. 18 plus. New
3 hours on the fucking Pina Colada song.
This August, Macmillan Cancer Support needs you to brave the shave and help raise money for men, women and children with cancer.
I'm braving the shave for my mum to let her know I'm here for her.
I'm shaving my head to support people facing cancer. I'm braving the shave in memory of my grandma. I think she'd be proud of me.
I'm shaving my head to support my brother.
Whatever your reason for braving the shave this summer, you'll be doing something truly amazing to support people affected by cancer. So go on, sign up today at bravetheshave.org.uk or search Brave the Shave.
I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man.
Tim, Mudgeon Wolf, what's happened?
The party got out of hand. There's claret everywhere. The carpet, the sofa. My parents are going to kill me.
You're not dead yet, Tim. Your parents have 5-star de facto rated direct line Home Plus insurance.
What does that mean?
It means they're covered and the wolves just saved your bacon. Although I'd still make a quick getaway if I were you.
Why?
You're 31, Tim. It's time to fly the nest.
Cover your home with Direct Line's 5-star de facto rated Home Plus insurance. Search Direct Line Home Plus. Cover and limit supply. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
I used to be a security guard. Work nights. Instead of being at home with the kids watching TV, I was always at work with Big Barry watching CCTV.
Do you like pina
Now,
coladas?
I don't have to work in social hours if I don't want to. And I can do and watch whatever I want.
I met them, bloody hell.
Brilliant.
Work or not, at the touch of a button. Find out more at uber.com/driveuk. Uber. Where to? Talk Radio. 24-hour radio debate and entertainment.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking. Unmissable late-night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation. Make contact with Iain. Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Tim, I'll come to you in a second. So many people wanting to join in on this. If you've just tuned in, we're deconstructing Escape, brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets, by Rupert Holmes from 1979, the last US #1 of the 1970s. That's a great pub quiz question. That is a great pub quiz. What was the last #1 in the United States of the 1970s? Great question.
Once again, listener, you're welcome.
Yeah, we go, you see. We're just dishing out this data. We've done the first verse, first chorus. And the chorus changes slightly throughout the song. It's important to remember that. Now, second verse comes in, and it's back to the perspective of the gentleman in the song. We know it's not really Rupert, but we'll call him Rupert because it's easier done. God, he just, again, it does this in rhyming couplets, right? This is Shakespearean in its quality. I've nearly finished Matt Haig's How to Stop Time. What a great book. I'm not saying that because he's a friend of the show. What a bloody brilliant. It makes me sick. It's such a good book.
Has it put you right off Matt Haig?
Yes, it has. These talented people that can write books. Because you know the film's going to star Benedict Cumberbatch. We know that.
You can see that in your mind when you're
So you
reading
can see it. And actually, I'm thinking, yeah, it fits in perfectly. Such a good book. I said on Twitter today, it's a modern equivalent of Slaughterhouse-Five, less violent. But the guy in it in the book is the modern Billy Pilgrim. It's such a good book. But he talks about the character in it basically lives for like hundreds and hundreds of years and doesn't age. He talks about how he met Shakespeare. And, just there's a few pages about Shakespeare in it. And you think, the skill with which Shakespeare could sum something up in just a couple of lines. A couple of limes. That was Harry Nilsson. But a couple of lines. And this is Shakespearean, right? So the guy's read the advert. We've just heard him reading the advert.
Remember, he's still in bed.
Yeah.
Wife, girlfriend is still next to him.
But straight away, he just thinks, he says, I didn't think about my lady. But then, so you're not thinking this guy's a heartless bee. Well, you are a little bit. But he acknowledges that. He says, I know that sounds kind of mean.
But you've got to remember the music is telling you.
Yeah.
Light-hearted.
Sexy time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's admitting that he's doing something wrong. But as we know, the relationship is flaccid, literally and metaphorically. I didn't think about my lady. She's in bed next to him. I know that sounds kind of mean. And then this line, guys, men and women, this next line, right? I'm just going to say it, and then we're going to just have silence for 10 seconds while you absorb this. But me and my old lady had fallen into the same old, dull routine. We've all been there. We've all been there, taking each other for granted.
When do you become from the bit of stuff from the girlfriend, the old lady.
I can't think of a more damning word than dull. It really is. You can, you know, if I take it personally, you can call the show SH1T, you can call it rubbish, you can say I'm a has-been, you can say I'm a failure, you know. You can say your TV career tanked. You can say that the radio show is disappears up its own backside. Water off a duck's back. You call the show dull, or you call me dull. That hurts, man. That hurts. To be labelled as dull, I can think of nothing worse. We'll take a breather there. We've got some phone calls. Let's go to Tim. Good evening, Tim.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Tim. I'm not dull.
No. I was never thinking that you were dull. No.
Thank you, Tim.
I haven't phoned in to speak about this awful song. I can't stand that song. I do apologise.
That's okay.
I can't stand it. I met you two the other day at the Eddie Large show.
Now, okay. Who were you, Tim? Which one were you? You weren't the Rod Stewart impersonator that was there, were you?
No, I wasn't. Yeah, I think I saw it.
You were the father of Murray.
I was the father.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Yes. How is that young man? I hope he's fast asleep.
Lovely. Hopefully he's asleep in bed. I've just got back from a short business trip, so I'm literally hoping he's fast asleep in bed. Kath just really piqued my interest on something. Now, I don't believe that the Earth is flat. I believe it is a globe, so nobody's got any worry.
Yeah.
But why, Kath, did you say...
Here we go.
...that when you come back from America, it's quicker? To me, it sounded like you were going to say something that proves that's why the Earth was round, and it really piqued my interest.
Well, why do you think it's quicker?
Because of the jet stream.
It's not because of the rotation of the Earth?
No,
Catherine.
I knew you were going
to... The rotation of the Earth? Where did you get that nonsense from?
You.
What? Is it not because of the rotation of the Earth?
No, because the air that we're flying in is spinning round with the
hang on a minute.
Yeah, but why? Because the globe is spinning.
Oh.
No, because the globe's spinning at about 6,000 miles an hour, so, I mean, you'd take off a land if that was the case.
No, but why is the air
Here we go.
moving?
Tim?
It's just an anomaly. There's just an anomaly.
No.
That sounds very convenient.
It's you can't put it down to an anomaly.
No, it is. There's a strange jet stream that makes that USA flight quicker coming back than it is going.
That sounds like a very clever way of saying just because it does.
Hang on a minute. Okay, how come it's quicker flying to Japan than it is coming back from Japan?
Because it's that same
jet stream
route. Do you get what I mean? But if you fly down,
because the Earth is going. You're flying against the rotation of the Earth.
No.
Yes.
If you fly downwards, for instance, let's say Dubai, then it's the same time going as it is coming back.
Well, it would be because you're going in a straight line.
Yeah, but what you're saying is you're taking off and like the Earth's going.
Yes. So if you yes. Qualifications.
Pilot.
Are you really though?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Prove it.
Fly us somewhere. Go on, fly us. Go on then.
Okay.
What do you think you're a pilot?
Do as the captain's speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to BA Flight 14.
Not smug enough. He's not being cocky enough.
He's not the captain.
Well.
No, I'm not a commercial pilot.
Here we go. Thanks.
Oh, you're a rich playboy.
No.
Tim, I'm afraid.
We're nodding and smiling and disregarding you.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But thanks for your call.
We like your boy.
Fair play though, Catherine. You did what I did there. You were backed into a corner, and instead of going, okay, well, you fought your corner, even though it may be bullshit. I did tell you that because I believed that. I still believe it.
I'm sticking by it.
I still believe it. You fly to New York, right? And you're going in the direction that the Earth is turning. So you've got to fly further, essentially. And then you're flying back. You're flying against the direction the Earth is turning. So London is coming round to meet you.
Listen, I hope it's true because I told my kids it very convincingly. And They believe me. But then again, that's what parents do, right?
Tim is, I think,
Full of it.
like Donald Trump Jr. is spreading fake news. Fake news. Let's go to Derwin. Good evening, Derwin.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, back to pina coladas.
At last.
Thank goodness.
Dearie me.
In fact, I'm calling Tim so-called Tim from now on.
Charlatan Tim, I think.
I reckon his son Murray, instead of being a 10-year-old boy, was actually a midget.
His wife, it's like the Crankies.
Yes, I'm suspicious of the whole family.
Who would take a child to that filth? Anyway, carry on.
Yes, what you got for us, boss?
Oh, thank you. I've got some old Time Out magazines. I'm looking at the Lonely Hearts column. Would you like me to read?
Oh, yes! Mate! From 1972. Yes, I would, mate. 73. Go on then. Yeah. What? Hang on a minute. Give us the exact date.
Oh, blimey.
Why, are you planning some
July
time travel?
27th to August the 2nd. It's 15 pence.
From 1973. No, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be funny if it was the week of my birth? It's not.
Right.
Hang on.
I have other magazines. I've got 79, but there's too many to read through.
If that is July the 25th, 1973, I would have been 6 weeks old. Let's hear the Lonely Hearts columns from when I was 6 weeks old.
My parents weren't even married at that point.
A few out.
There we go. Yeah, go on.
Here we go. Age 45, tall and slim and quite with it. Going on holiday in August. Needs young female company. No strings. Just gentleness. My name is Harry.
Dirty Harry. Do you feel lucky, punk? Did I come 5 or 6 times?
What I like about him is that he sounds like he's a gentleman, but he's saying, "Come on holiday with me, no strings. So when we get home, you're out."
Oh, it gets worse. Don't worry.
Go on.
Oh, next one. Company chairman seeks out of office yes girl. Must be used to taking orders. Shy, submissive, and subservient.
Oh, you know what this is?
The secretary.
Would be generously treated.
Tweeted? Treated. Okay, well, gosh, predicting the future.
In other words, I'll buy you presents if you let me smack your balls.
Who could refuse an offer like that, Derwin?
There's another offer. There's an advert in the middle of these. It's for computer dating. And six dates for £1.
Roll up, got you, not your 4, not your 5. They got you 6 dates for £1.
What if you don't like the first? You still got to go.
Go on, I like this. Go on, give us another one, Derwin.
Female, probably 25 to 30. Probably a little gay. Probably a graduate.
Probably in denial.
Probably leftish. Wanted by male. Probably answering to similar descriptions.
Hang on a minute.
A gay man wants a gay woman.
A little bit gay.
A little gay. He's only a little gay.
So, but he's asking for a woman who's a little bit gay.
Yes.
That's weird, isn't it?
What's that?
Very forward thinking 73.
Swingers.
It must be.
It's got to be swingers. There's going to be
more than one person involved in this relationship, isn't there?
Yeah.
Would you like another one?
I'll go on. Yeah, I could listen to this all night, Derwin. This is honestly, this is brilliant, mate. Thank you.
These all sound like. By the way, these all sound like absolute catches.
And if you're at home listening,
8 of them. So
if you're at home listening to this, going, "Oh my God, that's how we met, darling," then give us a call now.
Do you remember when you were a little bit gay?
Is your name Harry?
Go on, give us another one.
Architectural lecturer, 32, owns studio flat and sports car, seeks the company of interesting female until August the 25th.
You know what that is?
Term time.
Well.
What?
We know what a studio flat is.
Yeah.
Bedsit.
Right.
Sports car.
Yeah.
Bedsit.
Yeah.
Only wanted for a limited time. He's separated.
Oh, dear.
His wife's coming back at the end of the summer.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. A summer fling advertised. Give us one more, Derwin. This is brilliant, mate.
Okay. Lonely gentleman, 53, 6 foot, kind, amusing, uncomplicated, seeks younger lady, companionship, and love initially.
Oh.
Any shape, colour, status.
All right.
Secrecy assures.
Let's go back to the description again.
Did he say Randy?
No.
No.
What was the first word?
Lonely Gentleman.
Oh, lonely.
53.
Lonely, okay.
53.
Well, that's secret.
And it
for,
says he's kind. What else?
Generous.
He's amusing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
uncomplicated.
Yeah.
He seeks younger lady
Yeah.
for companionship and love initially. Any shape or colour or status.
Right, so he's not fussy, he's a minger.
He's desperate.
Desperate, rich minger.
Derwin, why have you got so many old Time Out magazines?
I just love the nostalgia.
Yeah.
I buy these, and I occasionally go with my to somewhere with my niece, and we look through them.
Oh, no, brilliant!
They're great.
No,
car boot sales and stuff like
it is great. And is it just Time Out magazines, or do you get other old things?
Oh, I get loads of old stuff. So there's a great magazine we had from the 50s.
Yeah.
And a girl wrote in and said, "Who should get off the bus first, myself or my boyfriend?" And it was worrying her.
This is, I mean, I'm a big fan of Time Out, and the fact that Time Out, it's literally, it's not literally.
Which I'm not very sure that's London centric.
Well, it is. I think they do it in New York as well. I think they might have done it in a couple of other cities, but now it's a crappy little free thing you get at train stations. And before, I never forget when I started doing stand-up comedy, Derwin, and the first time I saw my name in the listings, Iain Rugby, and I wish I'd kept it. But it was a great magazine, and some great writers worked there. Peter Perfides, John Ronson, I think, wrote stuff there, and all of that. And
Lexi Sarah used to buy it for.
Yeah.
He had a great column.
Oh, Derwin, thank you for that, mate. I really enjoyed that. Call again, won't you?
Do you want a quick one?
Yeah, go on. Is that one? We both went for it, yes. Yeah, go on.
Good looker, hairy, 36, seeks female, anywhere.
Thank you, Derwin. Hairy. That was a good call, wasn't it? That was a great call. Do you know what I think we should start doing?
I think that was my favourite.
We should, because just to raise, and I can see we've got, jeez. We've got the Holy Trinity coming up next. We've got Paul in Stoke Poges, Nigel from Maidstone, and David Badcock.
Right, I'm going to have to go for a wee.
I think we should have a Caller of the Night award. Get a little fanfare made up.
Yeah.
And
announce it at the end.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Paul, David, Nigel, stay there. You're listening to The Late Night Alternative with me and Lee. Catherine's off for a wee. We are deconstructing the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. Don't think we're going to get it finished tonight. We'll carry on tomorrow. This is Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
In the greatest comeback since Bobby Ewing showed up in Cam Shower. Hello, I'm James Whale. The mighty James Whale is back. You know the one. The voice of reason returns to Talk Radio. Unfiltered comment, scorched earth debate, and an ill-advised leather steps.
You making some kind of joke?
You look ridiculous. Take it off. Get in the ring with the legendary James Whale.
Are you ready, man?
The dome-headed sage of speech radio returns to the airwaves for 3 hours of essential national night talk. Cometh the hour, cometh the whale. The James Whale Show, tonight from 7 on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. David, say hello to Nigel.
Hello, David.
Yes, me first. Hello, Nigel.
Nigel, you sound a little bit muffled. Is your mum trying to smother you?
I think it's probably the line.
No, it's probably the phone.
Oh, the phone then.
Yeah.
I'll put it to the other ear. Hello?
Hello?
Is that better?
Well.
Hello? I think the phone's a bit muffly, but it's your end, I think. Or my end.
Is this me?
It's both ends.
Test.
Which end is it? I don't know. It's the wrong end. Hello?
Am I on there? Yeah, who's this? My name's not Iain.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Who's this?
Nigel from Maidstone.
Have I got the wrong number?
I think Ian's gone. He's not talking, Iain.
Oh, have you rang Iain as well?
Yes, I rang Iain as well. I'm just waiting for him to talk to us.
Right. How are you then, Nigel?
Not too bad. I was just going to tell Iain about something quite important.
I bet it's not.
What was your thing?
Go on.
What's your... No, you go first. Ladies first.
Hello, Ian. Ian.
No, talk to David.
To you?
That's me.
Talk to you? Okay.
Go on then.
I was going to tell Ian, but I'll tell you. A couple of weeks, I had an affair with a lady.
I think this is a bit too heavy for me. Ian! Help!
Come on, Ian. Put it in.
I'm not waving, I'm drowning, Ian. I'm not waving, I'm drowning.
Come on, Ian. Wait, you might have gone for a pee.
No,
I'm not waving, I'm drowning!
Hey, I'll have a pee, please, Nigel.
Yeah. Soon be 1 o'clock and it'll be...
Send me the audio. This will put this on SoundCloud and YouTube. This is brilliant.
I too had something planned to say.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to me then?
Have you seen my latest videos on Talk Sport the Golden Years? I've got some new video on there.
Me or Ian?
You, David. Have you got the internet there in front of you?
Not in front of me, no. I tend to use my phone and I'm on it.
Talk the Golden Years. There's a new bodybuilding one I put on there tonight.
What do you reckon to the song Pina Colada?
I don't know very much about it, really.
Not been listening.
Right.
Brilliant.
If an anagram of Pina
Colada. Sorry.
An anagram of Pina Colada is. Hang on, I've written it down. One sec. Just 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Pina colada sounds so much nicer in
Aladdin.
Spanish. It's just strange pineapple.
Yeah.
A cock Aladdin.
Right, tough crowd. Ian?
Do you like chicken? David, do you like
Again,
chicken?
caught in the
The
rain.
animal or the food?
Chicken, the animal chicken you eat.
The animal chicken?
Neither.
You don't eat chicken?
I don't like chicken. Looking at them, I don't like eating chicken.
So you don't like cock?
Right, yes. Yes. No, I've had a laughter transplant, or otherwise my side would be splitting right now. Ian! Help!
I want to talk to Ian, because that's what I rang up for.
Well, you and me both, pal. I don't...
If this goes up to 22, we'll go to the break, but just so
Well, it's nice that we can chat like this.
It's nice to catch up, Nigel. It's not
I was saying that I had an affair 2 weeks ago for one day.
For one day?
Who was it with?
It was someone...
Tell Uncle David.
Someone of 47, quite old.
Number 47 down the road.
47.
Did he?
And after the affair, she said, I don't want to see you anymore.
Oh, Nigel.
So I was
Why?
upset and depressed. Never mind. I found another one since. I've got another one of 37 this time, a bit lower.
Just on the opposite side of the road, is that?
No, this is true. What I'm saying.
She's
lovely. The one I've
God,
got
I
at the
wish
moment.
I had
She's really
faders.
looking like Kylie Minogue, blonde, nice figure.
Nice bottom.
Yes, sexy, nice little breast.
And she can't get you out of her head. She's a girl, lives at number 37. She just can't... Can't get you out of her head. She thinks... Hang on. No,
Have you been to the Naked Head?
No. I don't even think we're on air, you know.
I think we are.
Have you got any proof?
Well, I haven't got the radio beside me. Come on, Ian, put the boat in.
Put the boat in, Ian. In the water.
Watching Bullseye on the television, Jim Bowen, that's quite funny. But he was quite a funny comedian, wasn't he?
He was quite nice. What would he say?
He must be about 80 now.
Look at what you could have won.
I used to work with Jim Bowen.
Did you?
20 years ago. No, 30 years ago. Sorry, 30 years ago. When I played the drums for him when I was in a band, he did the cabaret, and I was sitting at the back of the stage while he was doing his comedian stuff. And that was about, I think, about 6 times I did some shows with him.
I think you're taking the mick a bit now, aren't you, Nigel?
But he's a lovely man. He's just the same off stage as he is on stage.
Can you hear me, Nigel?
I can hear you clearly.
Right.
Right. But I don't know what's going on at the moment.
No, you and me both.
I think he wants us to take over the show.
Yeah, do a really slow fade. It takes about 30 seconds and then go into the break.
So whereabouts in the country do you live in, Dave?
Maltby Rotherham.
So that's up north, really, to me.
Yes, it's north of Watford Gap, yes.
Is it near Leeds?
It's kind of near. It's in the ballpark. It's in the Leeds ballpark.
Do you know Sam Weller on the internet, Sam Weller?
I don't know many people. I've not got many acquaintances, actually.
He's a friend of mine on Facebook. He's probably listening now. He's a big fan of mine, Sam Weller. Yes. And Lauren Smith is another girl, friend of mine that lives in Leeds.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. All of human history has led to this moment. And if we lose, it will be a planet of apes.
Critics agree War for the Planet of the Apes completes the best blockbuster trilogy since the Dark Knight films.
We will bring an end to their con.
It's edge-of-the-seat stuff, says The Guardian.
So emotional!
Impressive, says Empire.
Come on, Iain, put the boat in.
The Telegraph calls it a soulful, mesmerizing spectacle.
Start this war.
Oh, this is one of the best shows.
We'll finish it. Apes together. Strong.
War for the Planet of the Apes. In cinemas now.
Hi, I'm here to trade in my trainers.
Trade in your trainers?
Yeah, they're really old. Didn't buy them here. Seen better days, to be honest. I wouldn't get too close. I want to put them towards some lovely new ones.
Sorry, sir, we don't do that.
Really? Vauxhall do. I just got £2,000 for my old banger to put towards a brand new car.
Yes, you can afford a new car. Scrap your old car, and on top of our other great offers, we'll give you £2,000 scrappage to put towards a shiny new Vauxhall. Visit your local retailer or search Vauxhall Scrappage for more information. Trading car registered in your name for at least 90 days. Offer available to individuals and small businesses. UK supplied vehicles only. Exclusions apply. Limited time at participating retailers. Full T's and C's apply.
If you pay for something, you should get to keep it, right? Yet with most mobile networks, you have to say goodbye to any data you haven't used at the end of every month. So say hello to Sky Mobile, the only network to automatically roll over all your unused data every month. And no matter what plan you choose, your data is yours to keep for 3 years. £5 a month. And Sky TV customers also get free unlimited calls and texts. Search Sky Mobile and say hello to rolling your data with plans from £5 a month. Sky, believe in better. 12-month minimum term. Free calls and texts to standard UK numbers.
We're halfway through verse 2.
Standard price £10.
We'll say we'll do it tomorrow. We won't do it tomorrow. We won't even mention it tomorrow, but we'll say it.
The Paul Ross Full Set Breakfast this morning from 6 on Talk Radio. And now for something cornflakely different. Satisfy your appetite for meaty news debate and unfiltered comment on The Breakfast Show with extra bite.
I'm Paul Ross. Join me from 6 on Talk Radio. If it's on your mind, get it on the radio.
The Paul Ross Full Set Breakfast. Make toast, not war.
This morning from 6
on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Late night Iain Lee. On air and off the leash. On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I didn't think about my lady. I know it sounds kind of mean, but me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. So he decides to act. And this is where the song pivots, okay? Because what he does, as he said, it could be considered mean, and it is mean. It is disrespectful to the woman who's sharing the bed with him. It's disrespectful. It is cruel, and it's cowardly. It's cowardly. But he decides to make a significant change in his life and try and find the excitement that he once had in that relationship and try and find it elsewhere. So we go to the third line of the second verse. So I wrote to the paper. This bit doesn't quite make sense, if I'm completely honest. And we have got
Tell me why.
So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad. So instead of writing to
That's how you do it, though. You communicate via the personal ad.
Well,
in those days you did. They wouldn't put you in contact. You wouldn't give you that woman's address, would they?
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'll give you that. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, I thought it wasn't half bad. That is a great line.
Pleased with himself.
Yeah, that is a great line. So I love it. I love it. So I wrote to the paper. It's really satisfying to say. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, thought it wasn't half bad. And then we get to the second chorus, and this I love it in songs when the choruses are a little bit different. Because chorus is meant to be the same every time, so everyone can sing along, and then you repeat the chorus 3 times until fade at the end of the song. But this one, you've really got to think about it, because the choruses are a bit different. Sam, I'm going to need an out time when you can, and we'll get to that second chorus in a minute. Let's go to Marty, first of all. Good evening, Marty.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Kath. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Good, thank you, Marty. What have you got for us? What would you like to say about Escape Brackets, the Pina Colada song, close brackets?
Oh, actually, I was ringing up about Bob Dylan.
Oh, go on then, fella.
If that's all right.
Yeah, of course it's all right. Of course it's all right.
All right, cool. Because you were saying just a bit earlier that you'd love to go and see him live.
Yeah, I would, actually.
And
I'm not a fan of Bob Dylan, and I've tried, but I'd like to go and see him live, because I'd like the experience of seeing an artist have complete disregard for the audience.
And also, he's quite old.
Oh, he's going to die soon.
The times are changing.
But someone, his ashes soon will be blowing in the wind. But just someone who's got complete disregard for the audience. Love it. I love it.
he does. You know, I've seen him a couple of times, and you know how normally they'll go like, you know, hello London or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he won't say any of that. Normally he just he comes on and he hasn't even played guitar, I think, in about 10 years now.
Oh wow, okay.
He just plays on his harpsichord. So he comes on, he stands on the stage, does about 10 songs, and he leaves. And I am a big fan of him, but I have to say, like, probably, and I've seen him 2 or 3 times, they're definitely the worst concerts I've been to.
Really?
Because his voice is completely gone.
Yeah,
You can't even understand the word he's saying.
Yeah.
Is it a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Because we all know he's very clever and he was a social changer and all that stuff, right? Is it a bit Emperor's New Clothes, Bob Dylan? Everyone's pretending they get
That's
it.
addressed to you, Marty, I believe.
Emperor's New Clothes. Discuss.
I don't know. What do you think, Kath?
I don't get it.
I don't get it, but I
can see he's clever.
I get why some people get it, and I really hope that one day I get it. I do like one of his albums. I like Desire. Desire's a nice album.
Desire is one of my favourites, actually.
Here comes the story of the hurricane. Is that on Desire?
There's better songs, and there's a song on there called Isis as well.
Oh, he predicts the future. Have you seen? There's a brilliant one of my favourite things. There's a Norwegian programme. I think it's Norwegian or Swedish. I think it's Norwegian, where it's a great idea for a show where they find activities that normally lots of people would do, and they film one person doing it. I can't think of any examples apart from this one episode where, so this episode, it's a concert. So normally you have thousands of people at a concert, but they have one person. And it's Bob Dylan giving a concert for one person. Have you seen that, Marty?
No, but that sounds unbelievable.
It's on YouTube, right? It's on YouTube. It's from this century. I can't be any more specific than that. I'm going to say 10 years. And it's this guy, and he's in a massive auditorium, and he walks in, and it's empty. And he sort of looks around, and he knows what it's going to be. And he sits down, and he sits there for a few minutes. Then Bob Dylan and his band walk out onto the stage, don't even look at him, and sit down and play. And I think they do like a 45-minute set. And it's mainly sort of like old Buddy Holly kind of rock and roll numbers. I don't think they do any of the, the hits. And this bloke just sits there, and he can get up if he wants and walk around, and he can go anywhere. And he just sits there and watches this concert on his own. Bob Dylan does 45 minutes an hour, walks off. I think it's on YouTube, because I've definitely seen bits of it. I think it's on YouTube. It's brilliant, and it's things like that that make me respect the fact that Bob Dylan exists, even though I don't quite get him.
Yeah, that's cool enough. Well, I finish work in about 10 minutes time. So as soon as I get home, that's going to be the first thing that I
Find it, man.
TV, I think.
I'm gonna have a look for it, see if I can find it, and I'll tweet it if I can find it. It's absolutely brilliant, Marty. Thank you very much for that. It's appreciated, but time is against us, guys. Time is against us. I think we're going to have to carry this on tomorrow, if I'm completely honest.
Everyone will be relieved.
We've got. This will be nice because we're going to get halfway through the song. We're going to rush the second chorus. And we might have to kind of pick up and recap some stuff tomorrow. So, second chorus. So he's written an ad. He's writing an ad, okay, to basically attract this woman. And it's a reply to her. Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food. That's the mirroring. There is a phenomenon, and I always thought it was quite a new thing, say new, from the 90s onwards. But actually, there are examples of it from the 50s and the 60s, of the reply song. Mm-hmm. There was a big thing kind of in hip-hop and R&B culture, where there will be a big hit by Beyonce, for example, or Jay-Z. And I'm saying that because I know there are examples. And then a male artist will respond to the Beyonce song, or a female artist will respond to the Jay-Z song.
Wasn't there a really rude one recently where it was basically F you? And then the other one, and then the woman gets in touch. It was a male artist, a female artist. I presume on the same label. And it was a kind of call and reply thing.
They did, but then I've found a couple of examples of it in the 50s and the 60s. They were done more as sort of novelty songs, but there are a couple examples of the response. I think it's brilliant. Just being able to, someone does a song and you can either go in and go, you can take the part of the woman they're singing about. Anyway, this is what this is the kind of a call and response thing in the same song. I'm not much into health food. I am into champagne. Boom, we're in
double
there.
booze.
I've got to meet you. I've got to meet you. The desperation that you only get when you're a horny 15-year-old or the very first flushes of a brand new relationship. I've got to meet you.
Or, third reason.
Yes.
Time constraints because you're supposed to be somewhere else.
Yeah, well. No.
Someone's going to bust you.
Well, as we go on a little bit further, we find he sees this as a permanent. I interpret it as he sees it as a permanent thing. We'll get to that line in a second. I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape. Basically saying we ain't got time to mess around. This has got to happen, and it's got to happen bloody soon because I'm going crazy here. I'm going crazy.
I mean, bearing in mind at this point, he doesn't even know what she looks like.
No.
I mean, she might be a fella. I've seen Catfish.
At a bar called O'Malley's, where we'll plan our escape. And it's the line about planning the escape that makes me think this is a permanent thing. It's not an escape into a kind of a fantasy. This is actually a genuine, he wants to escape with her.
And remember this, when we get later on, maybe tomorrow, when we hear the denouement.
Yeah.
How could she forgive that?
We will we'll return to this subject tomorrow. This is the Pina Colada song.